5:51. 17:51 on the 17th.
Je feel sunny, j'ai la tête qui fleurit. Avec toi, moi je feel hippie. Je vois le monde en couleur. Près de toi, moi je feel happy. Je n'ai pas vu passer les années, les jours et les heures. Le ciel qui vient tomber et les anges roulent.
I don't know where my cards are. It's been so long.
Sur moi, m'exprimer. Le monde devenir en flamme et le diable convoiter mon âme. Your love makes me feel happy. Il fait chaud, tu es beau. Près de toi, moi je feel sweetie. Je me colle à ta peau. Moi avec toi, moi je feel sexy baby. Je ne connais pas la longueur. Près de toi, moi je feel happy. Je pourrais t'embrasser des années, des jours et des heures. Le ciel que de tomber et les anges rouler à mes pieds. Tes yeux posés sur moi makes me believe. Le monde devenir en flamme et le diable convoiter mon âme. Your love makes me feel happy. Barricadé, genre tout. Mais je n'en ai rien à faire. Je n'y vois rien même de jour. Il n'y a que toi dans mon univers. Je n'ai pas vu passer les années, les jours et les heures. Le ciel devient tombé.
Oh my gosh, how you guys doing?
Tes yeux posés sur moi makes me
This might not be safe with the candle, but one more time. Happy Monday. I haven't been around in a long time. Feels kind of weird. 9 days off. That's a long time for me. Long time. No see. Hey, Brad Barney, no bullet. BBB, triple B. Bad Barney, no bullet. How you doing? Welcome in, dude. Just getting my groove back. I haven't streamed in 9 days, or today's the 9th day. I don't know. I'm not, whatever. Hi, Jeanette. Comment ça va? How you doing, sweetie? It's like I've been so quiet that I'm sitting here and I'm like, ooh, I have to talk. How are you? How's Australia energy tomorrow? It's already Tuesday for you, right? Okay, there we go. First card up, 11. 1 and 1 is 2. Expression. Express yourself. Peacock energy. Shake your tail feathers. Doing well. How are you? I'm okay. I'm very just speechless these days. So I, hold the stream by myself. So I haven't even tried to press on the button since like a couple Saturdays ago. But all is well. I don't know if you can see with the lighting. I actually got color because it's been super nice. And so, although I haven't streamed in like 9 days, I've been outside most of the time. You know what I'm saying? So, my feet actually able to touch the ground. Our snow is all melted in the yard. There's only like the big snowbanks left, and the lake is still froze for now. And so yeah, just been focusing on inner peace and me, myself, and I. You know what I'm saying? Bad Barney, no bullet. Great, thanks. Hope all is well. Yeah, doing super good. Hope you don't mind. I'm going to blue you on the spot. We don't really need moderators around here to control, but by being blue, which is the way I'd rather say than moderator, you can press on other channels and find people quickly, right? I don't know. I think all these live streams, these videos that we do is all about like helping each other find each other, right? You never know where you're going to find your bestest friend or your next, you know, soul companions these days, right? Michelle Lee, can I'm free. I had a feeling you'd go. Really? It's funny because for the last hour or two, I've been getting that jittery feeling. It's not bad jitter. It's just that being guided to come on. And then after I had my laugh attack, which I have to be careful because I'll go right back into that state. And seriously, my tummy still hurts because I laughed for so long. I don't know. It just shifted something inside me where I was like, just fucking show up. Even if, right? Just do it. Just do it. How you doing, sweetie? I've been like so freaking quiet, honey, that I'm not even like present anywhere, right? I haven't responded or initiated hardly any contact at all in so freaking long, right? Part of that reason, Michelle, is especially to not be running that Groundhog Day energy, because although certain things aren't flipped within the collective reality, it is in the momentum of flipping. So thinking that it's not, like everything feels so accelerated that even if it's not in plain sight and I can't see it, it might not be tangible. I know that the timelines are shifting like radically, right? Radically. And I say radically in the best way ever. Hey, Crunchy Bee. How you doing, dude? Thanks for coming in. I saw you the other night on OTW. I say the other night. Was it last night or the night before? I don't know. I'm not really good with the passage of time and being able to even remember if something was this morning or yesterday. And I say saw you. It sounds weird, to say I saw you in a stream, but that is what it feels like to me. Feeling the energy, seeing the energy kind of thing, right? It's been in the 80s for you, Mitch. We reached maybe that. I don't know. I don't have my own thermometer to know exactly. I know that one day we went for a walk and we was sweating balls. Like, it was like, holy shit. Could not wait to just get home and like grab some ice water instead of like the warm water we had with us on our walk. It's been a beautiful week, and it's gone back to seasonal temperatures. Like, it's raining right now. But this being said, the grass has shifted, like the greenness just from this morning to now with just the rain and no sun. It's like it's like a visual buffet for my eyes. Like, every time I go outside, the grass looks greener. I think as well, that's a lot of my being quiet in the last week, is that there's so much accelerating within, you know, spring. My turkey vultures are doesn't want to be on screen. Go. My turkey vultures are back. The robins are like, I mean, all I'm watching sometimes is like the robins like hunting for worms, right? And just the sounds of the birds and everything. It's like, it's amazing. It's a long winter. Jeanette, I've been feeling the same. Quiet, keeping to myself. That's awesome that you have beautiful weather. Yeah, it's amazing. It's like a sweet burst, right? Of like sustained sunshine days in a row. And we didn't have that this winter. right? If we had one full day of sun, then we'd be like 5 or 6 days without even a glimpse. So sustained days in a row have, it's yeah. And there was a forewarning for me like the week before. I was streaming amplified like 4 and a half, almost 5 hour streams, and I was asking my higher self, me myself, like, why am I going so long, right? And having the energy, and I would have been able to keep going, but at some point, like, somebody's got to make the food and whatever around here, right? And that was it. It was like I did a streak of a bunch of long streams in a row because I was going to be guided to take a break after. And a lot of those streams I didn't leave up because when we go in deep and there's intimacy and there's like a lot of vulnerability, I'll leave the streams up for a certain amount of time, and then it's just like, you know what? Enough. Um, my streams is me here, but it's bouncing off the chat all the time, right? So, it's blessed that people choose to share their stories, their stuff they're going through. But sometimes it's just like, I just feel guided to make sure that it's protected, right? Control. The troll energy. I'm not even going to get into that, Mitch. Bad Barney, no bullet. Exactly. Building communities and learning. Yeah, I have like my prerequisites wherever I focus any energy is like if I'm not learning or growing or being inspired or, laughing. Oh, and when I say learning, it sometimes it comes from a place of like really choosing to put my attention into live streams that go deep, right? Speaking about certain things and allowing for a lot of vulnerability, but and then exiting if something doesn't meet certain requirements within a certain amount of time, not keeping a live stream up just for the blah blah energy on the side. Like, there has to be something in there for me, right? Where we focus our energy, especially, it's always been important, but especially right now, if we want to shift the collective energy, it's like it starts within every one of us, right? Energy flows where our attention goes. So if we as individuals take care of where we put our eyes and ears, and that there's a sanctity to where we put attention, without judgment, because, something might not resonate with me, but other people are growing from it, but that's not what helps me right now. But then in a week, that same channel or same live stream, it will be for me, right? So anyways, discernment, so important. Michelle, I'm quiet, being my own bestest friend. Exactly. It's been really important in the last week for me, and I'm not the only one. The things or people that put up like energy stuff wise, which I usually share on IG, sometimes when I really feel like, holy shit, I want my YouTube people to be able to see this, I'll take screenshots and stuff and put it on my community posts. But being on IG and then having, the certain handful maybe of people who post certain things, it's within the comments that I'll find like the dynamic of like how people are truly feeling, right? What their ascension symptoms are, what's actually happening in their lives, right? So right now, one of the things that I've seen in the last couple days is like the mother and the mother energy coming through, and not always positive or pure, a lot of toxicity, and the masculine just feeling very attacked. And that makes sense, because if there's a certain feminine energy that's toxic, well, fuck, for no wonder certain masculines feel attacked, right? Because it's real. It's not just in anybody's head. Anyways, there's a lot of beautiful stuff, a lot of bliss energies, but to get to sustaining, to feel the bliss, as the incoming energies are coming in, it's bringing up everything within us, right? There's things inside of me that it's like, what the fuck? I didn't even know I had anything that was wounded inside of me about certain things. And then, like, holy shit, like, this is coming up inside of me, right? So, oh, wow. Amplify that by the fact that, you know, everyone's going through this, whether we know it or not, right? Jeanette, the hardest part is showing up. Yeah. I've tried to stay because sometimes this isn't my first pony ride of having, you know, a week or so of just uber utter silence and speechlessness and not having like flow or the ability to, you know, hold a whole stream together. But usually I'll step back even more. I tried to post at least one video every day and, you know, stay present within my community posts, just to not completely, like, right, I didn't let go of the line completely. As well, a couple days ago I had sorry if I'm behind in chat, anybody's news coming in, I'm just kind of flowing, I'm going to bounce the way that I bounce, right? But a couple days ago I, you know, I shot a message out from myself, like, towards uh you all, basically, like, right towards the people I'm synced with, and just that saying, like, I don't have flow to show up on a screen right now, but if you need me, if you want to talk to me, you know where to find me, right? My inboxes are where they are, my emails are where they are, like, right? You come to me if you need something. And so that's been kind of magical in itself, because after I threw that out there, I did have a few people come in, you know, to certain inboxes and saying, or needing or wanting certain communication, right? So that was pretty cool. Um, yeah. Anyways, that's enough about that. Michelle, feeling better than ever after a rock bottom? Hey, Wolf Dude. Hey, Mama Bear. How are you? Me's doing good, sweetie. Thanks for not dropping me like a hot potato and just checking in this week. I really appreciate it. And it's my laugh attack earlier that made it that I just kind of dislodged something inside of just show up for a stream, right? Gather us. Hey, TWP Popcorn, what's poppin', dude? Michelle, it's cold and rainy for you guys as well. You had snow showers last night. Enjoyed driving in it. Love the kaleidoscope effects with the headlights. Very long winter, yeah. Walking on sunshine is medicinal. It's funny, I was listening to that song by Katrina and the Waves, is it? Yesterday. And then I stopped it when it said I'd get to the mailbox bullshit, because it's like, yeah, right. It just pissed me off. It just pissed me off. So I shut it off. Hey, Simon Co. Thanks for your encouragement this week too, bro. Loves you. How you doing today? Jeanette, this morning is high teens. Winter is coming for us finally. It's still been very hot for April. Roar. Well received, eh? Your kangaroo pecs and the other stuff, sweetie. It's like I'm mentally answering you, and then I'm trying to write or even say a voice message, and I got nothing. I got nothing. Michelle says, I'm deeply personal here. I appreciate your respect and discretion. Thanks, sweetie. And it's like, I feel that just some streams, you know, first of all, they're so long, right? 3, 4, 5 hours, that whoever's meant to get what comes out of us, because I might be the one saying it out loud, but you all are the ones that I'm flowing from, right? I just feel that especially right now, there's so much separation energy happening. So a lot of timelines being separated, a lot of like, oh, right, we're going to be best friends forever and you're my tribe. Okay, that's not what's happening. And so not everyone's choosing to rewrite that script in a way that it's like, just cool. You don't resonate with me anymore, Jen. I'm just not going to watch you. There's a lot of like yuck energy, right? And I don't want to bring that towards anyone else. Keeping that neutrality of people have no clue, right? Who or what are the timelines separated that are being separated, because I don't know if there's anything I've learned in the last little while is like the fucking dirty laundry of the past or the present of what's happening with people, other people that are bystanders. It doesn't feel good. It does not feel good, right? So if we're not a part of a certain story, other people's dramas, the llama fucking like blah, 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 like, right? Putting it out there doesn't serve a greater good. So, yeah, Bad Barney, exactly. You know what I'm saying, eh? Right on. Michelle, I was ready to throw in the towel, pulled myself back up. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I was thinking about that expression a couple days ago, Mitch, is when we throw in the towel, guess what? We're throwing it into the dirty laundry. And then at some point, somebody's going to do the laundry. Could take a while. I'm not the best laundromat person ever, right? Could take a while, but at some point, that towel's going to be clean. Right? So when we throw in the towel, at some point, it gets cleaned. It comes back all brand new and fresh. Trying to flip that expression into the best, right? Hi, Special Needs Moms Talks. Glad to be here. Hi, all. You're resonating. Oh, thank you, sweetie. How's your week been? And I say that I've popped into a few of your things here and there. Again, I'm not very chatty. Most of what I have. Hey, Jackie, I see you down there, sweetie. Most of what I participated in, and what I mean by that is if I press on a video or a live stream to exchange energy, the least I can do is to, minimum put the like and then say hello that I'm there, right? Or, right, just the thank you energy. I don't like just lurking everywhere, not giving the energy back. But there's just sometimes where, again, that silent part of me this week has been so huge, right? TWP Popcorn, Another Day in Paradise. Roar, good. Jackie, Fox 333, hey, sweet footy G. Oh my gosh, me was pissing my pants almost. Not literally. And by the time I started filming that video earlier, I was already a few minutes in, and I continued well after. Oh my gosh. I don't even know. I think that cracked me up the most because I come from a chef background, right? I come from working in restaurants, and it was my worst nightmare. It still is, even in my house, to have hair in my food, right? And so when I was reading that, I wasn't expecting the Big Mac and part at the end, like at all, right? And then it just like blah, cracked me up. And I was like fanatic about my hair, right? About tying it back, having people inspect my back, my shirt, right? Check my back. Is there any hair? Is there any hair? Right? Make sure there's no hair on me. And my hair completely back. And I was adamant about not wearing a motherfucking hairnet because if my hair is tied back properly, it can't fall out, right? It cannot fall out. So putting a hairnet on top of that, fuck you, I won't do what you told me, right? I had inspectors that would come in and be like, you're supposed to have a net. And it would be like, but my whole kitchen is going to be perfect. So if you want to nail me on not having a net, go ahead, buddy, because everything else is perfect. And they just kind of roll their eyes and let it go, knowing that if my hair's all tied back, shift. Oh, I gotta shut off my notifications. I don't usually have them on. I was hoping for something being answered back today, but anyways, Jeanette, it's all good, Jen. The pictures are for you to enjoy, and I don't need anything in return. Being here now is enough. Roar, thank you, sweetie. I always feel like, wow, I'm such an asshat because I put myself out there. My email is in my about section. I learned like in my first weeks and months on YouTube, the more visible that I am, the less people who actually try to get a hold of me. And what do I mean by that is if you don't actually make yourself elusive like a unicorn and say, hey, you want to talk to me? Go ahead, right? My Instagram is Genevieve Michelle 7. I'm on Skype. I'm on Discord. I'm on this. I'm on that. Blah, 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 and everywhere. And if you can actually find me, that makes it that only those who really want to will. So flipping the script of, a lot of people stay elusive, very hard to find, but it's like, no, you want to find me, go ahead. And but yeah, not being able to respond sometimes, I feel like just bad, right? Like I feel like I'm not holding up my end. Michelle, if you're meant to receive, you'll receive. Messages always find their recipients. Indeed. And I remember when anybody who's ever really watched me or remembers, my past videos or how I speak, is I remember when all of a sudden it was very hard to even know, right? If I write a comment to someone, did they actually see it? And it's just been getting worse over the years. But I think that's been to our advantage, because if I wrote comments to someone and they didn't get those comments, then it made me and them go farther to build solid foundations within the dynamic of our synchronicities, our flow, our affinity, what resonates with us, right? So it made it that, there's more people that connected deeper than just superficial comments, actually had the conversations, right? Or the emails, the texts, etc., etc. So, right? Flipping that, instead of thinking like, YouTube keeps us apart. No, find other ways to be able to connect with the ones that you want to, right? Besides, all of this like internet stuff makes it that it's so fucking simple. You press on buttons, you listen to people, you fucking jump around sucking energy everywhere. Where's anything being built, right? Michelle, Don Henley, Dirty Laundry, yeah. Michelle, it works for me, the good laundry flip. Is Emoji King here? I see you right, Jack. I saw you right, Jack. Emoji King, are you here? Special Needs Mom Talks, wild, a lot of ups and downs, not a lot of flow. Jackie says special needs, I agree. I would say not a lot. Oh, Jack is Jackie. Thank you. I'm like, what? Is Emoji King here? Because he's not popping up for me. Hey, Poor Dirt Farmer. How you doing, dude? Thanks for coming in. I would say I resonate with that, the up and down. Mostly up. And the down isn't like a dark night of the soul or like deep purging. It's more just like blah. Like a void energy, like there's just nothing musing, right? Remember Jackie, I told Jackie that the other day. It's just like, I don't feel inspired. I don't feel mused. There's nothing that is like raw to grab onto and like just, right? Hey DJ Is, how you doing? Just catching up to the chat, guys. So if I have missed anybody, I'm catching up. Okay, so what I was gonna say, so maybe not a lot of flow, but my thinks, certain things, right, just so amped up. So although there's not much flow coming from me, everything around that is giving me signs is very solid. Does that make sense? So my syncs are really like, my syncs are solid, that I'm in this kind of void, speechless energy, but that's what I'm meant to be in, right? Does that make sense? Because syncs work differently when we're not in alignment. I've had deja vu all week, even if I'm not participating a lot in anything at all per se, a lot of deja vu. So that for me, right, means I'm right on track for myself if I'm experiencing deja vus. And they're like the simplest, smallest little things, like, but they're there to confirm all is well. I feel like I got a hair. Wolf dude, I feel like I got a hair. A head hair. Just saying. Oh my god. Okay. Wolf dude 1, I've recently discovered an entire new level of healing by letting certain heartbreak go. And I've just been content for 5 days or so in a row, just so blown away. It's beautiful, that feeling, eh? Yeah. I liked it too when you shared with me that you feel like you found a new soul family. Because I really do believe like we have not even touched the iceberg of everyone we're going to love and that we're going to merge or, have connections with. And I keep seeing within, certain energy reports or whatever you want to call them that the new is coming, right? And shutting the door on certain timelines or certain where we put certain energy, but that the new people are coming and waiting for us to shut those doors, right? Type of thing. Michelle, I wonder what you'd cook me for our first meal. I don't know. I could never promise that because it would depend on like, the temperature and what's accessible at the time. You know what I mean, Mitch? So it would really depend on the circumstances of like, I don't know, if I was driving through Wisconsin, for example. If I was driving through Wisconsin and I would just like show up at your house and it would be like, an hour after I'm there, I would be like, can I open the cupboards and make supper, right? And whatever's already there. Versus if somebody comes to me and it's planned type of thing, right? There's different factors. Jackie, I didn't even know you were on IGA. You popped up for me. I don't go through everybody's, friends or whatever lists of stuff. So I saw that I thought you just started a new account and was fresh. And I was like, and then when I friended you or whatever the word is on IG, and I just kind of went in to see how long, I was like, shit, that account's been there forever. Probably longer even than me or the same time as me. I don't know. I didn't check all the way down. So I found you there. So that's pretty cool. The Mitch, Jack is Jackie, because she called me Mitch. Hey, Pita. Pita Barouette, comment ça va? DJ is just stopping by as usual. Dude, I was watching one of your streams last night. I didn't even say that I was there, but I was there. Pita. Ooh, I like that. You're an internet truck stop. Whoa. Yeah, I am. I don't have showers though for y'all. Mom is special needs mom. Okay, I'll remember that. Michelle, so oh my god, so whatever it'll be, I know it'll be delicious and magical. Do you know, Michelle, some people can't eat my food. Um, it's very rare. And it'll be mostly people who are used to eating such commercial packaged stuff that, right, having fresh onions or fresh garlic versus onion powder and garlic powder, type of thing. And and people who have like, I don't know how to say it, but yeah, it's mostly that. And it's rare that's ever happened to me, but there's a difference between fresh food and, if you've been eating cans and boxes and frozen meat and certain things for years, to adapt to actually eating fresh food can be really hard for some people. Just like the way when some children from birth, right? They got the packaged stuff, and so trying to introduce them at 2 or 3 years old to something fresh, their palate has a lot of trouble. I mean, knows this much is true from working with children, and the thing of like, it doesn't matter what child, I can flip them into eating, good fresh food. But children that have been when I say from birth, it's like usually not breastfed, usually like zero ever homemade. So for myself, like of my 3 children, Samuel had Gerber baby blueberries once, and that's it. And the only reason he had that is because we were in Montreal visiting family. I had brought all the frozen little stuff that I make because I used to do everything frozen, freeze it in individual ice cubes, portions, and then once the ice cubes, right, stick it in the Ziploc bag. So we had gone for a certain amount of time, vacation. I had brought everything frozen, and at one point, because I don't know, he was like maybe 8 months old or something. But Sammy was so big, right? By 8 months old, he looked like a 1.5 year old. I made a big boy. And so at one point I was like, oh shit, we're going to run out of food like for the drive home and for, you know, the day and a half that we're still here. So we had gone to get like the one option that didn't, right, make me want to puke, blueberries. And that's it, right? Otherwise, my kids didn't know that other food. Yeah, Mitch, the palate's long established. Pizza, the Oracle truck stop. Dude, if I forget that, you're going to remind me someday, right? I've never really tried to have go-to titles or phrases and stuff, but I kind of like that. I kind of like it. Boom, Mitch. Both of my sons love vegetables because they were introduced without option. A woman thought Nick was a year old when he was 3 months old. Same. And I think that our dudes are pretty much the same length, height, right? Yeah. When Samuel was like a 2, my mom had taken care of him and she put his hat on her head. And when she came home of taking care of him, she was like, your son's hat, Samuel's hat fits me. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, his head is as big as mine. And I was like, okay, right? But it's very obvious. He was going to be very, like by the time he was a week old, Mitch, I was already giving him pablum through the bottle because I had to. He was hungry. He had teeth already by 4 months old as well, right? Just got playing with the imagination. I like it, Pita. Okay, I don't necessarily think I'm going to flip a lot of cards, but I know that I can't stay activated, if that's the right word, if there's nothing coming out of me, right? So we'll grab a couple. White Raven, 66, 369, babies. 66, White Raven Spirit, trust the magic. Nothing in the universe is random. For the intricate web of co-creation weaves together all events and has done so since the beginning of time. Coincidences have meanings. And the White Raven Spirit appears to remind you to pay attention to these synchronicities so that you recognize the patterns. Even the winds dance in a pattern, participating in the magic of Spirit's plan for all. Align with the highest good and intentions, and you will come to see that White Raven is guiding you, an ally to you, and a messenger from Spirit. Align with the light, and you will start to recognize that it's all working together harmoniously in ways the eyes can't always see and the mind cannot always comprehend. The universe is conspiring on your behalf right now, drawing you to the light, bringing you the magic and miracles that are your birthright. Now is the time to trust the magic of the world that is everywhere and in all things. Pay attention to how things come together as if by magic, and you will see the hand of the Great Spirit arranging things in your favor. Boom. Yeah, Mitch, huge heads, for sure. Sammy had a lot of growing pains too, right? From growing so fast. Lot. By being the mom of a big dude, right? Helps to see the different perspectives of the masculine as well. Sometimes people would be scared, scared of him or think that whatever, right? And it's like, because he was bigger and because he was always bigger, taller, he never fought. He never had to, right? The one time that he sort of did something was in grade 1, where he got off the bus and somebody was being picked on. So he took his steel lunchbox and smacked the kid who was being the bully. And fuck, he got in so much trouble for that. He got expelled for a day in grade 1, which is not common for violent, right? And I remember saying to the teacher the next day, first of all, he loved spending the day with me. Second, do you realize that he smacked someone in the head because there was no surveillance? It's, you know what I mean? Where's the teachers? Where's the person who's supposed to be watching, you know, to make sure everything's fine with the kids? For his perspective, Samuel's perspective was like, I saved somebody from being hurt, and I saved somebody who's being bullied and name called, right? He didn't feel like he was being mean or cruel or hurtful. He shut the guy up. This being said, within a week they were best friends, and they still talk today. So the kid that he hit in the head with his lunchbox to prove a point of don't pick on my friend, they're still friends today. And then him and the little guy that he actually was protecting at the time, they're not they still know each other, but they're not friends per se. So, right, a little bit of knocking some sense into somebody can full circle into a lifelong friendship. Not that I would say that that's the right thing to do, but just saying at some point, right? Michelle, I love the white raven. I've never personally seen a white raven or a white crow. I look all the time for crows that will have that one or two, maybe white feathers. Never seen that per se either, but doesn't mean I won't someday, right? Michelle, I just posted magic and miracles happen when you want to give up, but you don't. The universe falls in love with a stubborn heart. Exactly. It's that thing too, where it's right when you think it can't happen or it won't happen that it actually does. Sometimes certain things. For real. And the thing is too is that, you know, there's a difference between wishing and wanting things than certain things that are, you know, destined for us, that it is our fate or that is meant for us, right? Whether that be people, jobs, anything in our life. Looking back, when we didn't get certain things that we wanted, we were being protected. And for something to take like days, weeks, months, or years to come into our life, uh, damn, you don't take it for granted when it takes years for something or someone to come into your life, right? And that's gonna get me on a little roll of something, but I don't get out much into the world, and when I do, one of the things that I'm constantly shocked about is when we're walking either at the getting groceries or walking around, and you hear other people's conversations and certain how they exchange energy. And one of the things that I find, like, first of all, it's no fucking wonder that we're so isolated, because how most or a lot of people speak to each other just blows my mind, right? So passing the random couple of certain ages or whatever, doesn't matter what age, and then I could hear the feminine bullying the masculine or putting them down, and it's just like, believe me, bitch, if you hadn't had somebody in your life for 5 fucking years, you would not be treating them this way now, right? Like how absence, not having people in your life makes it like, first of all, I've never been that type of woman, but it's shocking. I remember saying last year, we had a couple that lived across the street, and I said to one of the neighbor dude, I was like, it's shocking to me. Like, they are so fucking confident about themselves of he's not going to leave her, she's not going to leave him, that they actually let themselves speak to each other this way, because anybody who has any self-respect would be one fucking sentence out of that bitch's mouth and, ciao baby, I'm gone. You can't speak better to me? I'm the fuck out of here. Fuck you. Right? Like, it's like, I don't know. Like, maybe it's just me, or because I haven't had intimacy in so long. But even before, like, it was one of the reasons we didn't go to certain Christmas parties or certain functions with my ex, is like, what's the point when, you're sitting at the table, and, I knew all the dudes from work, from my ex's work, because when I met him, I was managing the motel where, the motel, hotel, restaurant. So I knew all the, all the crew that he worked with. So going and then all of a sudden having supper and then the woman is like, my husband this, my husband that. Like, what the fuck, right? Ew, ew, ew. Like, it's just gross to me. I don't know. It's like, words matter. Free speech ain't free. It's going to come back to you. Spewing words and saying shit that you don't even mean half the time makes no sense to me. And this being said, I was with my ex for 5 years, 4.5, 5 years. And he never spoke to me certain ways. And he always, even if he was fucking angry at me, kept a certain composure all the time. Why? Because his wife passed suddenly. And the day that she passed, he walked out the door to go to work and he didn't even say goodbye because he was mad at her. So he never did the last, I love you. He walked out of the fucking house, pissed as hell of whatever argument they had the night before or in the morning, whatever. And when he came back from work, there was sirens everywhere. There was crews everywhere picking up her body. So, damn, if anybody learned the hard way of you don't walk out the door without resolving something or saying, like, I'm still mad at you. I'm still mad at you right now, baby, but I love you, right? That's a hard way to learn a lesson. Catching up. Hey, Anti-Gen X, Anti-X Gen, Anti-Gen X, Anti-X Gen. Catching up, sweetie. I see you down there. Really, Wolf, dude? I've been seeing you in Dreamtime, Mama Bear. Always nice. Hugs, laughs every time I see you there. Saw you last night. Only remember hugging you, then waking up. But it made my morning. Roar. Thanks for sharing. I'm dreaming a lot, but not bringing back recall. But within my dream time, exactly what you described, there's a shitload of laughter. There is hugging. It's not necessarily intimate per se. It's very like friendship-y based. It's always safe. So thanks for sharing that, Wolf Dude, because again, I'm not bringing back a lot of recall. I'm bringing back the memory of waking up where it feels good. I'm actually waking up sometimes just pissed off that I'm still in this reality, to be really bluntly honest, right? If things are meant to change, what the fuck am I still doing here? But yeah. What a story, how their souls connected, Mitch. The universe is quite crafty and quirky. Oh, yes. For real. Anti-X Gen. Crows are my spirit familiars? Yes, Jeanette. Beautiful message from the White Raven. Look at the patterns weaving. Yes. Thanks, Mitch. I resonate with that. If you have to force anything, it's not meant for you, ever. Exactly. And at this point, it's bypassing to wish, hope, or anticipate that anybody's going to change. Right? That thing of like thinking that anybody's going to change and then all of a sudden magically, be the way that you would want them to be. Actually let that person go so that you can manifest and attract the actual person who has the qualities that you want, instead of being with people, wishing that you had friends who spoke a certain way but don't, wishing you had, the masculine or the feminine, depending on who you are, that, encourages you and certain things. I say that. Do people magically, deliciously wake up one morning and act exactly how you would want? I don't know. It's never happened for me. But when I've eliminated certain people or not focused energy on certain people or left certain relationships behind, yeah, the other thing did come, right? And the forcing anything, yeah, Mitch. Um, the simplicity of what frequency doesn't lie. So you can meet somebody, be at the same frequency, and think like, wow, we're going to feel like this forever, but it only was meant to happen one time or for 1 week or for 1 month or for 1 year. It doesn't sustain itself. You know, most people who are in a relationship right now fell in love in a way that if you actually had to go back and say how you fell in love, and the one question, if somebody looked you straight in the eye and, well, why are you with your woman, or why are you with your man, what, you know, most people would be, well, because we got kids, we got a house. Like, that would be their definition of why, right? Well, you know, that's it. So how does that make sense from a fifth dimensional perspective and beyond? I asked a masculine years ago, because he had contracted me for artwork for his wife's 40th birthday, which was already a big deal because she was the type of woman who was not looking forward to the 40, who was kind of depressed about it ahead of time. And I had asked him, I was like, well, what's our favorite color now? And he's like, what do you mean now? And I was like, well, you've been together since high school. She's 40 and so were you. What's her favorite color now? I don't want to know her favorite color in high school or like 5 years ago, like today, this week, this month, this year. What's her favorite color? And he's like, wow, I don't know. I was like, okay, I understand that. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go with the color that I think is her favorite and play it on the fly. Right? So I manifested this big collage type of thing for her birthday, and I chose the colors that I believed were her favorite from the outfits that she wore all the time when she was happy. Right? She jogged. I worked, right, and saw her every day. She was part of my reality, passing by every day, whether we talked or not, whether we, you know what I mean? I saw her all the time. So I chose every single color that I used for the collage type of thing that I made based on the colors I saw her wearing in the last months. And she was shocked because I nailed it. And I was like, well, I thought I would, because why would you dress in this tone of green, this tone of yellow, and this tone of pink unless they were your favorite, right? You're spending your money on these colors. And I know when you're wearing them, you feel happy. So I was right. But I had noticed as a feminine who sees a woman walking by what her favorite colors were automatically from logic, from what she wore, but her own husband couldn't answer that same fucking question. Right? And he was shocked after, because he's like, I told her what you asked me and she told me that you nailed it. And I was like, and he's like, I know I'm busy and I know I'm not paying attention, but I never realized how much. And I was like, maybe this happened for a learning curve for you guys. Right? Been together since high school. You work, you do so much, you're putting all the energy into the business. But I see the wife that wishes you had time for her, right? Maybe this can help you guys to notice her more, right? Anyways, that's a lot of babbling. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Jeanette says crows are my spirit animal as well. Saw first crow feather gift just the other day. Staged beautifully, standing upright in a hole in the base of the tree. Posted a pic. Okay, I know I'm late in the chat still, but remember that live stream when I went outside and I found the pink feather? I don't remember when that was. Whatever the live stream was, I used it as a thumbnail. I don't document to remember, right? It is what it is. It was in the last 2 months. Well, the other day, when the snow was like, you know, almost gone, and I was shoveling where the wood was to try to get, you know, the ice chunks away, I looked down and I found this. Again, this is 2 different crafting feathers. We do not have these kinds of birds here in this reality. Bonjour, Matrix Man. Number 1, Matrix Man. Comment ça va? And so, yeah, so this, I spotted this, I don't know what day, a couple days ago, which was surreal because it's like, how did this get there? I don't even think I've even looked up what green feathers mean. I was just kind of happy. Ça va bien? Right on, dude. Happy Monday. Oh my God, Jeanette, are you shitting me? Oh my God, that's enough to like make my whole body. Jeanette, I was at the grocery store the other day and the wife said so loudly to the husband, "Here's your food." And it was dog biscuits. Yeah. Wow. I'm a chef too, and whether I don't do that for money, but food is my love language. So I make jokes about that kind of stuff sometimes, but the jokes that I make wouldn't make other people laugh. They're nuts off. It wouldn't be that thing of shock. You know what I'm saying? It'd be that thing of like, I can't believe you just said that out loud and it's funny. It's known that my intent is a joke. Yeah, that kind of thing, Jeanette. For me, the thing that I've observed, or I don't even want to observe it, it's just so loud sometimes, right? Is that's not what I fucking told you to get. Don't you even listen to me when I talk? Or can't you do anything right? That's not what I asked you for. Just those kind of comments. A man in the grocery store the other day who was alone, older gentleman, he was looking for the price of the cucumbers and they were changing the prices as we were there because it was that day where, one special ends and another starts to flip in. So it was very understandable. You could see everywhere there's people working. So he was looking and I was like, "Are you like looking for the best looking cucumber?" And he's like, "No, I'm actually looking for the price." And then we were joking around, right? I was like, "Oh, maybe they're free or blah, blah, blah." And he looks at me, he's like, "I'm probably looking with my man eyes." And I was like, "I think y'all look pretty good most of the time. I don't really resonate with those jokes so often." And he looked at me and he was like, "Oh, that's sweet." Like he was shocked that I didn't just play into the joke of the man eyes. Because, yeah, it happens to me all the time, right? That I won't notice certain things. So it's not a man thing, it's a human trait to have something right in front of your face and you don't see it, right? Everybody does it. Anyways, but it was funny because the way when I throw those jokes away but bring an elevated energy, how shocked some people can be sometimes, right? I don't know if that makes sense, but Michelle, words are a paramount importance. Yes, words matter. The universe does not recognize sarcasm. Our bodies have been, first of all, we've been programmed for generations that, oh, that's just a joke, that stupid shit. And guess what? If your joke actually hurts someone, and especially one-on-one or certain things, like, what are they there? And for me, especially to flip a joke, if you would not say this in front of your daughter of a certain age, or you wouldn't want your fucking mama finding out you spoke that way type of thing, or you wouldn't want me saying that to your daughter or your son type of thing, you know what I mean? Like that right there is everything. So how people will throw in my face, it's just a joke, right? And it's just like, well, I'm not here to be sexualized by you, da da da, right? So then if I flip it as if I was speaking to their child or someone that they love, and then how, right? That whole energy changes. If it's that fucking funny, then I'm the one that's too sensitive. You're a goddamn comedian, but hey, if there's 20 other people that put up their hands and say, "I don't think that's funny either." I do believe we're here to rewrite the scripts. I do believe we've been programmed forever and a day to use our words carelessly. And that's why words are spells, because people just verbal diarrhea, a bunch of bullshit that they're never going to be accountable for. But karma will bite you in the ass for your words, even if you don't think that they will. Michelle, I feel for people in such toxic environments and relationships. Same. But dude, everybody's got free will, right? I mean, at some point, And I say that, but some people have been so intergenerationally just verbally abused that it's just common. This is how my mom talked to me. This is how my mom talked to my dad. This is how my grandma talked to my dad. So, of course, they find a woman who talks the same fucking way. And even if it hurts them forever, right? They just stay in that. Really harsh lessons for Chris? Yes, Mitch. I've got a bunch of I find feathers so much that, like, this is one of my jars, right? We found 2 eagle feathers last year, one each, me and Lily. Separate occasions, separate beaches. Yeah, I find so many feathers that I keep them in a glass usually. But yeah, I find so many feathers that unless they're not in this, like, this is not a good condition feather for me, but if you go under an eagle's nest and kneel on your own eagle feather, well, you're going to keep it whether it's raggedy or not. When I found this eagle feather, it made me know, wow, I've been finding eagle feathers all my life, but leaving them on the ground because they're too ratty. And when they're too ratty, I consider them part of the circle of life, right? The bugs need them. The whatever of nature needs them, so they're not for me. But yeah. You have jars of feathers too, Jeanette? Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember when I realized, like, this is the best way to keep them because you can see them, you can grab them, right? Hey, Amber Lachelle, how's it going, sweetie? NTX Jen, not sleeping, lucid state for hours, but no recollection whatsoever. Never remember my dreams my whole life except 2. I remember my dreams randomly off and on. It depends on the stages of certain parts of life and timelines. Shaw says, Jen, when I was gifted with a feather woven into the leaves of a fake plastic succulent I found on my front yard. Posted pics of that. I gasped. Such a beautiful gift, an instant heirloom. Roar, that sounds magical. Shaw, wishing for another to change to fit our frequency is just another form of painting red flags green. Yep. It's the codependency. It's the control. It's the believing we can change somebody. It's the not having enough self-love for self and for the other. Because if you truly love someone, you set them free. You don't expect them to mold or change to fit your, to fill yourself, right? Yep. And that's the thing. If you don't like, or if you're not happy with a situation, you can, you either leave, you accept it, or you just keep on bathing in whatever you don't enjoy. Because you can not like something about your partner, but flip it into something different. And one example of that is snoring. I used to be that person. I don't fall asleep easy, and I can sleep very light. And so, within certain timelines of my life, how angry I would be at the sound of snoring. And then one day what happened was, it was like it flipped inside of me of, wow, if this person wasn't snoring beside me, I would miss the snoring, right? If all of a sudden the thing that you hate, can't stand the most about your partner or your best friend or somebody in your family, if they weren't there doing that action that bugs you, would you rather they come back and chew with their mouth open for the rest of their fucking life and accept it for what it is than to be irritated by it, right? So I'll give you an example as well. When I was in relationships, and this happened to me more than once, I would be told often to shut up, be quiet, stop playing with the radio, stop flipping channels, stop singing so much, right? Oh my God, shut up. What's the first thing I was told days, weeks, or a month or so after I separated? I miss you so much. I miss your voice so much. Oh my God, I wish you were flipping the radio right now. I wish you were flipping the radio. I didn't realize how, that was one of your most endearing blah, blah, blah traits. And it's like, well, fuck, what do you want me to say, right? Okay. So next time you find a girl who flips the fucking radio channels, let her do it. I'm not coming back, right? The leaving had nothing to do with the radio channels, but just again, if you can't appreciate the things that you think are irritating, it's like a couple years ago, I asked somebody who was living three different people in the same house and nobody's married and right, three different people sharing a house. And so one person was coming from the dynamic of she had lived alone for 3 to 4 years and then all of a sudden moved in three people to cohabitate in one big house so that everybody didn't have to pay so much rent, didn't have to pay all this bullshit, and everybody could live comfortably. And so I asked, one person, I was like, what's the weirdest or the hardest thing of adapting, of living with two other people that are adults? And she's like, my pet peeve or the worst thing is going into the fridge and things aren't placed the way that I'm used to it or the way that I place it. That was one of her hardest things. And like she said, I'm giving you an answer because you asked, because it's like, boom, I get over it. If I want something placed a certain way, I'll place it that way. That's it, right? And I remember I looked at her, I was like, oh my God, I've been alone so long that, right? I could go into the fridge and no jar was actually, shut tight, or there would be like fucking food just lying there, like chicken with his legs wide spread open. And I'd be like, I don't care. And I even do this with Lily, right? The things that irked me about my children or my stepchildren that I expended energy to bitch, whine, moan, or ask, right? Want them to change. It's like, completely letting go. I learned with having the other kids that choose your battles. Who gives a shit if, there's 3 glasses in the bedroom? Go get them. Go get them. You know what I mean? Ask for them. You don't have to have a hissy fit just because, right? You don't have to be irritated. That type of thing. Mitch, huge resonance here. Roar, thanks. Feels weird to be back, to be honest. Not in a bad way, but just after 9 days of not speaking out loud a lot. And I've been on for 67 minutes. I'm going to move around in a few minutes, even if I'm not caught up with the chat. Jeanette says, the crow feather, I was at a rock bottom place at the time, and it changed the energy for me to move forward. Yeah, that's what feathers will do for me often as well. Or if I'm feeling just that, like, it's a gift, right? Exactly, Michelle. Sometimes the connections are only meant to be short-lived. Indeed, and if we as souls recognized our soul contracts instead of the matrix-based programs of how, things are supposed to be or should be, whatever, then we would let go and it wouldn't feel so personal all the time, right? Sorry I'm so late in the chat, guys. Yes, Jeanette, sometimes we just need a physical sign. Back to work? Okay, Jen, have a super excellent shift, sweetie. Yes. Did you say you just found another one, a green one? Yeah. So, Amber, I don't know if you're still here. This one I had found during that live stream, and it was to the right of the door, and this one was right to the left. And if I could count exactly how many steps one way that this was and how many steps one way that was, it's exactly the same. And I know, like, look at the condition. It's not ratty, so this hadn't been there for a long time, right? If it would have been in the snow and getting rain and ice and, right? But it's in perfect condition. So, yeah. Jeanette, the husband was embarrassed that time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I want to say though as well, I've seen some beautiful, and I don't want to just focus on the yucky shit that I see or the stuff that makes me cringe. I've seen some beautiful exchanges of energy with masculine and feminine, and masculine and daughters or sons in public as well. So a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago, I don't know, whatever, we were grocery shopping and there was a masculine and a feminine, and they didn't bring a cart or a bug or a cart you push and the baskets, right? That are in grocery stores. They didn't bring either of those. And so they were both sharing the load of what they had found, and they were backtracking. And because I had seen them at one spot and then I saw them, and anyways, they backtracked to a certain spot and they were discussing what they were going to buy with eye contact, looking at each other. And it was so beautiful because at one point she looked at him and she's like, well, you know, if we get this now, it's just going to sit in the cupboard for a while because I'm not going to make that, or we're not actually going to use this for a long time, so we might as well wait. And you know, it was beautiful because they were in tandem, right? Choosing what they needed, both carrying the load because they had, right? It was, and then exchanging the energy, right? I don't know. I could feel their connection, right? Compared to when people have that other type of energy and they're not connected. They're two separate entities, both in the same place, but that frequency is not there, right? With these two people, both, I could feel their energy all merged together, like they were a unit. It was beautiful. Ah. Hi, Anita. He sees you down there, sweetie. Michelle, to be so unkind and flippant with your beloved, I cannot even imagine. I've heard it all and seen it all because I worked restaurants and certain things. So I would, you know, pass by the tables or be the one to witness when, you know, girls' night out of how women speak about their men, and guys' night out about how men speak about their women, and women are way worse. Women will give details and stuff that's so fucking intimate that it's shocking to try. It's shocking, right? I sometimes wonder why, you know, it's men that are considered like pigs or disgusting or ignorant. And it's like, that's so just a stereotype, because the shit that I've heard women say out loud and embody or do is way more, it's way more yuck. Hi, Mark. I see you down there. I'm just Willie late in the chat. Willie late. I'll blue you when I get down there, dude. I thought I had last time. Yeah. As well, I cleaned cottages for years, and groups of men together for fishing weekends or fishing week even, they left the place way cleaner than when there was women. Women had that entitled feeling of, I'm on vacation, I'm not here to clean. And it was disgusting sometimes what they left behind. Whereas the men wanted to be known for, we're not gross. We did the best we could to clean up what our week, right? Seriously, not even. And the worst dynamic is between 20 and 30, 35, 37 of women. That's where the most biggest of, I'm on vacation, I don't have to do anything, right? Because the thing is, when the cottages you rented and it was supposed to be left as clean as possible, within the dynamic of, you know, they don't have cleaner and they don't have a mop, and you know, we came in to actual deep clean, but it was obvious, right? If somebody spills milk in a fridge and it stays there for like 2, 3, 4, 5 days, the crust build up, versus you can spill milk, wipe it down, it's not perfect. We still knew what was spilt, right? That kind of thing. Michelle, with friends like that, who needs enemies? With a lot of couples are more, they feel more like enemies than actual couples, right? Michelle, frequencies right here been happening a lot, prolonged, both years. Hi, Kierny. How's my day going? My day's really good. Thanks for asking. Where are you popping in from? How did you find us? Michelle, I worked so much on my words, especially at home. When you know better, you do better. Yeah. Exactly. When you know better, you do better. And it's that thing of there's a beauty to word play and puns and play on words and you know, cutesy pootsy sarcasm and certain things, but it's a whole other level when you're not even safe in your own home on some level to express yourself and not get bullied or put down by your own partners, right? So my turkey feathers are in one mason jar and my others in another large mason jar. Exactly. Anyone that works for friendship as well, right? When you love anyone or anything, set it free. It won't leave if it's meant for you. If someone is meant for you, they might leave, but they'll come back. And by setting free, it doesn't mean like, oh, right? It's not even testing anyone. It's just allowing the freedom consistently. When they come back, they're yours. If they don't, they never were. Exactly. And that's again when that's saying if you love someone, set them free. It's not playing a game, it's not manipulative, it's just allowing the freedom. Because especially within intimate relationships, man, woman, whatever, when somebody's meant to be with you, you're like matching fucking pair of socks. It's inconceivable to live without the other person, right? You're like it's like the jam to my peanut butter, the jam to my jelly, the peas to my carrots, right? That type of thing. It's so. Oh, Jeanette says, LOL. I wear earplugs, Jen. I love my husband. Exactly. That's it. And the safety, right? You feel so safe knowing that your husband is there, that you don't have to be on red alert of certain things, and you can just casually let yourself plug your ears and fall asleep. That's it. Michelle, I said 555 change out loud in a sporty bright yellow car revved going in by my house. Michelle says, I use earplugs too, Jeanette. Same reason. Roar. I hope something's coming my way for sure someday. I need some change and my truest timelines to come in at some point. Hi, soulful guitarist Ernestine Day. Just gonna grab your channel. Roar. He subbed. Welcome in, sweetie. Mark, I'm just catching up to the chat, but I'm just going to add you right now as a moderator while you're still here. Mark says always losing one of those socks. You know what's funny, Mark, is I don't actually usually wear socks that match. So when I said that, I was like, oh, I got to find something else. Because I like socks that don't match, except for when they're knee-high or whatever. Then, well, usually I'll match them when they're, but not always. But yeah, I don't like always to match my socks. So I was like, that's not the best analogy, Michelle. Exactly. Jeanette says we have matured, Michelle, and we realize they need sleep as well, and it's us complaining if they're snoring. Exactly. Yep. Anita says, I'm stopping in. I know you're already gone, Anita, but I'm just going to read as if you're still here. As if she's still here, because she's not. Stepping in to send all my love to everyone here. I can't stay. I need to get some sleep. Hope to catch the next live stream. Yeah, I just started it on the fly. I was trying to wait till Corey was completely done, but everything was just guiding me to just start. Gorgeous feather, yeah. You stayed for a few minutes. What a dream. Equal exchange with the masculine and the physical. Bonjour, Alice. Alice. How do you say Alice in French? Alice? Bonjour, Alice. Bonjour, Alice G. I just woke up. Hello, everyone. Gonna listen while I'm doing the coffee thing. Right on, sweetie. Me loves you. Okay, Anita says she's going now for real. Michelle, can I'm free. When you actually have an antagonistic relationship with your other half, what the fuck is actually even the point? Exactly. And this is where finance, money, um, the joining of, the homes, the kids, all that stuff. That's what keeps people merged, right? Yeah, Mitch, you were gonna bring up the peas and carrots. It just started snowing. I'm very protected from certain things, and I do not have I don't access certain realms, Wolf Dude. Wolf Dude, I don't mean to sound weird. I'm glad, Mama Bear, you can't always remember dream time. Because I'm afraid of what you'll see in the dream world. I'm connected too, and it's a very dark place. Been trying to escape it for years. Yeah, honey, I don't have that timeline. Um, I'm trying to think back, even in my whole 51 years type of thing. I've never, in this lifetime, there's certain things I have not been meant to live, right? Within the paradigm, certain paradigms, certain realms. Um, Again, although I know that entities and demons and certain things exist, I don't have timelines or contracts within this lifetime of certain things, right? So, I mean, we've known each other for over 4 years now, Wolf Dude, and we've spoken for real compared to other people, right? We've spoken for real for about 3 of those years, very off and on, and only when we need it or only when it's meant to be. But you've always asked if what you live has an effect on me, or if you should detach yourself from me because it could hurt me, and it never has in 4 years, right? So whether you or other people fight certain battles in the astral or are part of certain connections with certain things, it doesn't affect me. If anything, I'm there to anchor to make sure you can always come out, right, Wolf Dude? And anyone else that understands that part of the layers of, the dynamics of how much bigger this world is and then just, 3D. If anything, it's because in this lifetime I don't have, again, certain soul contracts, certain things I am meant to live. I'm able to always be not let go of the line and pull people back in, right? And by pull people back in, it's not against free will, and it's not trying to control or manipulate anybody, and it's not trying to save anybody. But an example of that would be just the knowing I got to text somebody right now, and then them saying, like, you just shook me out of something, or what you sent me this morning made other things like disappear. I don't even have the words because most of that stuff is just the private connections that I have with certain people, right? If you're part of those timelines with me, then you understand how just the timing of it, even how, I haven't streamed for 9 days and all of a sudden I'm guided to do it today, and someone somewhere needs my voice, and they might not validate it here, and they might not even validate it with me in the background, but me knows I had to listen to show up, no matter what, no matter what, I had to. And especially when I have that certain feeling of just go now. See, there's people who need a lot of validation to understand their gifts or to be able to continue to share them. And for me, um, I don't need a lot because a little goes a long way. So, for example, being told years ago by someone, like in the moment you texted me was I was telling myself, go look at the phone one last time, go look at the phone one last time, go look at the phone one last time, before they tried to do something to exit this reality, right? And so by looking at their phone the one last time, and it was my little fucking cheesy ass whatever it was that I was guided to send randomly out of the blue, brought them out of the thing they were about to do, and made that I'm going to hang on for one more day feeling. And the one more day became one more week, one more month, one more year, right? I don't know if that makes sense, but again, a lot of these things are, you know how other people who have spiritual gifts will just openly share like fucking everything that they do. I'm not about that. So some things I talk about, and some things is just like, it's not my story to tell, right? It's not my story to tell. That's it. Michelle, I doubt I'll ever wear matched socks again. I like when I wear my purple and black stripy socks kind of thing, I like them to be matched because it's like that's when it feels nice that I'm matching, but otherwise. Michelle, it's sad to see love change in relationships. See, I don't, if we allowed for love to change and that it was normal, instead of trying to hang on to stuff, right? Certain ways, we wouldn't be in this collective shit show that we're in if we accepted. I truly believe that if people knew, when we know ourselves, we understand that we have a soul contract with someone. We can understand that it's just a willy-nilly passing attraction of lust. It's got nothing to even do with the person in front of us sometimes if we feel attracted. We can understand, like a masculine that is grounded in himself cannot be wooed and seduced just by feminine energy that right? It's part of the MK programs. Like they get that. It's not hard for them anymore once you get to the point of a certain mastery to see through the puppet show of the games that people play to seduce and be alluring and all that stuff, right? So, you know, from the perspective of awakened individuals who are in embodiment, just not anybody can rock your crank. That's it. If anything, you can have everybody trying to do everything in virtual land and in your reality, and it's just like rolling your eyes to the universe of, why are you sending me this shit? Right? Why are you sending me this? This doesn't even make sense to me. Right? Like, is this supposed to be tempting? Because it's not. Right? Hey Rayad, salut. Comment ça va? You guys are gonna have coffee together. I love it. Jeanette, I felt your energy was going to be around today, Jen. Roar. That's cool. Neat. Well, for both of you that felt, right, because Mitch said when she came in, Michelle, and Jeanette, you just said it now, for both of you that felt that it was going to be today, use that as part of your inner knowing, right, to solidify. Yeah, when I have certain feelings, I'm right? Does that make sense? To, like, you know what I mean? I don't know. There's so many, like, puppeteers and bullshit in the middle of everything that it's like so many people have so many gifts, their instinct, their knowing, their healing abilities, but instead of being elevated, risen up, validated of their gifts, they're quashed down, right? So I'm an elevator. If right where you said, I felt your energy was going to be around today, John. Well, boom, right? You were right. Spot on. that's good. And keep that part of you when you feel something else, different ways that it's right, right? I love it. Michelle, thank you. Exactly. You do not need to sell or tell. Either people feel your energy or they don't. Exactly. Exactly. And for me, that's why I stick to little channels. Less is more, right? The details of what the labels are, of what you think you are, I'll feel it if you are or not, right? So many people say they feel energy, they feel this, they feel that. And then it's like, well, what do you see when I'm here, right? You see energy? What do you see? I'm right here. What colors do you see? What do you actually see? Right? Because if you do feel energy, then boom, like Jeanette said, you would have felt that I was coming in today if you're already linked to me somehow. You would have felt that I was coming today, right? Does that make sense? Anyways, I need to move around, guys, because now I've been on for like 80 minutes without movement. So I'm going to leave you with just a little bit of music. Get your childlike vibe going with that music box feeling, and it won't be too long, but I need to move. Yeah, I learned a long time ago that I need to move around after about an hour-ish. Not for long, but just a little bit. Michelle, good point. Even if the energy turns toxic, if you got married, you were in love at some point, presumably. I'm going to go back to what I said about just the intergenerational people who speak to people a certain way. If you were raised by a mama who speaks to your father, your brothers, sisters, your aunts, your uncles a certain way, it is so fucking common that you will manifest that same type of energy in your life and not even, It's like when you see other couples, it could be the game changer, because it's like, wow, my wife doesn't talk to me like that ever. And then you can see how the other masculine feels safe, feels loved, feels cherished, and you start to have that feeling of like, fuck, that's what I want. I don't like this, right? This tone all the time in my life. I want to manifest this type of tone that's softer, kinder, that, you know, that is vulnerable with me. But as well, like, even just watching movies and reality TV and all that fucking shit, right? Sitcoms, how common, right? Everything and everyone is the butt of a joke, that it's just taken for granted now, right? The toxicity isn't even seen because you never had it. You never had that safe, cherished feeling. Like, one of the most common questions I'll ask people when I have like one-on-one conversations is like, have you ever felt cherished in your lifetime? And some people, like, it's a complete no. Or some people will be like, yes, my grandmother did. My grandmother cherished me. But my grandmother died when I was really young, right? So it was only a glimpse of that energy. It only lasted from 0 to 5 or 0 to 8 type of thing, right? It didn't stay sustained. So it was like that all encompassing one person of the grandmother energy, and that's it. You know, and yes, cherishing starts within, but to flip your whole perspective to be able to cherish your own self when you never had the example, right? And when you turn everywhere you go, you don't get the example of that. That's why divine unions, sacred unions are so needed right now, right? It's not to put on a show, it's to just live in harmony in a way that's going to have a ripple effect for other people, right? So again, I'll go back to the grocery store story and how Jeanette's story of, you know, a woman saying really loud to her husband, here's your supper, and she's tossing dog biscuits, and Jeanette saw that the man was embarrassed, because it could have been a whole other timeline where the man would have been like, yeah, those are my favorite, baby, thanks, right? And that would have been so cute and so funny. But Jeanette saw that that wasn't the energy at all, right? The man was embarrassed. It didn't feel good. But if you're in public and you're seeing, you know, one couple randomly every once in a while or every day, whatever, that treat each other a different way, that's going to bring up that self of, this is what I would want, right? Instead of the imprint of, I'm so used to be treated like a piece of shit that I don't even realize I am, because this is just how people talk. It's fine. It's fine. This is just how people are. But it's not, right? Wolf Dude 1, you do more than validate me, Mama Bear. You reassure me when I'm at my lowest or highest. Roar. I love you either way. I hope that shows through, dude. Right? I love the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the only reason that I will either eject people from my life or completely not interact is if their good, their bad, or their ugly is projected at me. Right? I've told you this before, Wolf Dude, of every masculine that we've had connections with for so many years, you could have chosen every time that you felt at your lowest to project into me the way that others chose that timeline. Right? Because I've been playing this, or playing out the role of, right, the feminine for certain people in their life for like 1, 2, 3, 4 years, right? And some people consistently, every fucking time they feel at their lowest, they project into me. I am their fucking whipping post, because they would never have the balls to speak to that this way to somebody in public. So it's very easy for me up here or in a comment to boom, attack when they're feeling at their lowest, instead of when they feel at their lowest to tell me, like, I'm at my lowest of low right now. I need you to whatever it is they need from me, right? You can see where people where people do the inner work. We're not here to be perfect, but when we feel at our lowest, do we project into other people so that they are going to all of a sudden feel like shit too, right? Or when you feel, sometimes when I feel my worst is when I'm the kindest in comments and I feel like a piece of utter shit. I feel like an old crone. I feel like my life means nothing. And then here I am in the comments, and nobody would know that that's the day that I was the most rock hard down. Because instead of choosing, like, this is the day I feel like shit, I'm going to go and make other people feel that way, I flip it, right? Sometimes the worse I feel, the more I'm actually sharing love or compliments or an elevation energy, because I want to elevate myself by elevating others, right? It's easier to get out of your ugliness or what you feel like shit about if you're actually being kind instead of feeding that ugly energy, the fear, right? Shall change is the only constant. Change, evolution. And when people can't evolve together but stay right in the dynamics of certain things, it can't work. Jeanette, that makes sense. It's exactly what went through my heart. You validated my knowing. Yeah, good. Good. I really believe we're at that stage where if you can validate others, their gifts, the littlest things, right? It can be, you can be the key to help somebody else. You can be somebody who turns the key in someone else. You know, a lot of people don't get comfort and positive words. So, and just because they put themselves out on a platform and share videos and certain things, it is the comments that we write to them that gives them the sense of, okay, I'm doing this for a reason. Okay, right? I'm not going to just wipe down my whole channel. Somebody actually is watching. Somebody actually cares. I actually affected somebody in a positive way and they validated it. Mark, I resonate with that. Making others smile is addicting. Yes, it is. It is. And I like this. For me, it's the silliness, right? The silliest stuff. Mark, is this going to turn into a rap music box? Music mix boom? DJ Khaled. Good one. Yeah, I blew the feathery yeah, I've only picked 2 cards, Mitch. So 11, expression, half French, half English, expression, express yourself, and White Raven, 66. So the 11 double numbers and the 66 double numbers. Alice, I carried a lot of negative tones from my parents into my relationships, and it never seemed that way until it was too late. Big lessons in knowing. Same. And this is the thing, just because I speak this way now, I'm a lifelong trying to better my words or trying to better my attitude and my tone and stuff like that, right? Believe me, I've been the fucking raging bitch who didn't know how to communicate and said stuff in tones or cadence that was not pretty, right? For real. And that's why I can speak from the perspective of been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. It didn't serve. It didn't make for a better world, a better household, etc., right? So, yes, I've played that part as well. It's because I've played the part that I can see it in others and know that it's very possible to flip the way you talk instantly. You can be in the middle of a fucking hissy fit where you're actually bullying, calling somebody names, and then realize, like, holy shit, this isn't even what I mean to say. and I've gone too far. I'm sorry, right? I've gone too far. I am sorry. Because as soon as there's name calling involved, you're on a fucking blah, 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 right? It's all just verbal diarrhea. Michelle, I've only ever felt cherished by my 2 husbands until I met Soul Sisters. Roar, that's beautiful. Michelle, yeah, we are the scapegoats. A lot of times. Yeah. And what's beautiful about that, though, is that within the dynamic of certain people projecting onto me or me onto them, because I've done it too, we grew, right? We chose. This isn't right. We're done. We're not going to speak this way to each other, or we're not even meant to speak to each other, right? Exit gracefully, stage left, back the fuck away, right? Indeed, Mitch, taking the unconditional love for granted. Jeanette says, I've seen the inconsistencies growing up. Dad was angry with us kids and loved Mum to the end of the world. And that is confusing as well. Felt like I wasn't enough and found that in my relationships. Whoa. Yeah, Jeanette, thanks for sharing that. And looking from like a higher up perspective, I don't see it as it wasn't true anger. It was confusion, not knowing how to communicate, being scared all the time of having to load the responsibility, right? Because I know for myself, whenever I did have angry periods as a mom, it was because I was scared shitless at the time. I was scared. It wasn't because I was truly angry at any of the kids or stepkids. It was because I was scared shitless of whatever it was, right? That was going on in the timelines of our reality. It was fear. It wasn't actually even anger. I was afraid. I was afraid to be vulnerable. I was afraid to not talk, right? When I really learned that if you don't actually yell and scream and you listen more, and when you choose your words instead of just yelling anything randomly. I'll give the example. You go to a park tomorrow, anywhere across the world, right? The chances of you hearing a mom scream to her kids over and over, if you don't do this or that, we're going to leave. If you don't stop that, we're going to leave. If you don't listen to me, we're going to leave. You know how empty that is for words as to kids? Because if you've repeated already once, we're going to leave if you don't behave a certain way, and you don't actually follow up with that action, right? So some parents will use that forever. They will never grasp that saying that is actually enabling the kids to run around even more hog wild because they know you're not actually going to manifest the action of leaving, right? They know. Why would they stop if mom or dad's always yelling, if you don't stop that, we're going to leave, when they know? It's the same as if you're going on vacation, you got 3 kids and they're all acting up and you say, if you guys don't stop acting up, we're not going. Meanwhile, you've already paid thousands of dollars, you got a fucking, right, reservation somewhere. It's already set in stone. Are you really not going to go? No, liar, right? You're just saying words out loud. But if you find the words to say that will bring the kids back into the reality of, once we get to the resort, you don't get to have this or do this, or taking away something right then in the vehicle, right? To make the point. But how, right? Especially with kids and people like just spew out so much. And I know, I've been there, done it. And less is more, right? Less is more. My kids were so like, they knew if they got to my little nerve of, if you don't stop, I'm going to pull the car over and you guys going to step out and I'm going to leave. They knew when I said that, like, they were done. And why? I never actually did stop the fucking car and leave them there. But they knew that I actually would, because we lived in a community where it was like, it was very like, it would have been fucking like perfect. And anybody driving by would have understood why they were there for that 5 fucking minutes, right? It's like when Sammy, we were in Zellers or something when he was 3. Amy wasn't even born. And he did the thing that kids do, that he started to cry when he couldn't have something. And I was like, really? Okay, cry. And I walked away. So the aisle is here and I'm standing here. And meanwhile, I'm monitoring. He's crying and having his little fit. People are walking by saying, good job, Mama. I see what you're doing. And the people understood what I was doing. They knew I hadn't left him. I was right there. I was within like 2 steps of running and grabbing him if he was, right, would have gone the other way. Like, whatever. It was so safe. And people knew what I was doing. When he actually realized that I wasn't there listening to his little fucking fit anymore, and he looked around and I wasn't there, and that brought him back into his little 3-year-old body of like, this didn't work and now mommy's gone. And I didn't like fuck around for a long time and make him stand there. But once he stopped and was looking, I came out and I was like, are you done? T'as-tu fini? T'as-tu fini de pleurer? And he looks at me and he's like, you were gonna leave? T'étais pour partir? T'étais pour partir? You were gonna leave me? And I was like, no, I would never leave you. But I'm not gonna do this every time we come to a store. T'as-tu fini? Is this gonna happen again? No, Mama, no. And it never did. You know what I mean? He was 3 and it never happened again. But he felt that feeling of what it was like to try to manipulate or control something and get his way, and it wasn't going to work. But what he learned that day was what I tried to teach him and embed in him, and even my other kids, is like, I will tell you before we get to the store if you're allowed a treat. Or if you ask me for a treat and I say no, there's a reason, right? There's a reason for the no. Either we don't have enough money for it, or it's something, right? Whatever it is. But it never happened again. He didn't use that and it become a behavior, because radically the first time it was cut in the bud and in a safe way. Again, I had somebody, I remember, this was so many years ago, he's 26 now, right? It's 23 years ago. I had people saying like, I'll be at the other end just in case. And I was like, thank you, right? Parents having each other's backs, of knowing exactly what's happening. And that's just an example, but the whole anger and saying things and not meaning them and all of that. Michelle, I'm the same way. Flip the frequency. Jeanette, I feel like that too. I feel like shit and I give so much wisdom to others. I just need to listen to what I tell others. Boom. Exactly, Jeanette. And that's one of the reasons it's so much easier to flip into, like, to not be days or weeks or months feeling certain ways. Because if I'm already in my darkest day, knowing I don't want to hurt anybody else when I feel that way, then it is easier to come out of it. Exactly, Mitch. It won't work no matter how hard we try to make it work. No. Especially now where we're at radically as a collective, we have chosen that we are bringing in a new world, the frequency of love. So it's a duck or it's not a duck. You either are meant to be in a certain timeline or you're not. And certain things are being blown apart, or, you know, or not blown apart, but it's like radically, like if you're in union and your body can't sleep, you haven't slept, or if you don't feel safe and loved and cherished, the physical symptoms, the exterior stuff that's happened, I can't even imagine. Like, I can't even imagine, because the whole universe is conspiring for our souls to be living our highest timelines. Everyone, right? So, you know, people who are still within the betrayal or controlling timelines, like, I can't imagine what it feels like. I can't, because I've not manifested those, right? I'm the opposite. I've left so many things, exited so many timelines, shut the door, kept it shut, no matter what, right? To make sure that whatever comes that's for me, it's like, boom, let's go. Right, I'm on board for the building, the truest timelines ever. Oh, Jeanette. Yeah, I see now what was going on. Dad would start work at 2 a.m. and then 4 kids. Could you be happy with 4 fighting kids? I only had 2 kids because I was so scared to have more. Yeah. And especially, like, you know, if we go back in time, certain paradigm, right? How, you know, if we look this in this timeline of reality right now, I know daddies who do night shifts and certain things, but what they've done is to strategize their life as well so that they're the most with their children and but able to sleep, right? So depending on what time, you know, you come home and they are the ones who fix breakfast or lunches. So they had a little bit of intimacy with the kids, but then when kids are gone to school, boom, total sleep, right? So staying up for an extra 2 to 3 hours maybe, but having quality time. And then shift work is already so hard on that, especially depending on the physical labor or what's actually the responsibility at night. Hi, Rowan. Welcome in, sweetie. How's it going, eh? Happy Monday. Yeah, and it's easier to see, Jeanette, from the perspective of once we become adults, once we've lived certain things in our life of like, damn, my daddy wasn't mean, he was just really tired, and stuff like that, like forgiveness or the realization, right? Even for some families, I'm going to go deep and say, right, some people can really understand why they were like physically slapped or spanked as children because that's all that their parents knew, right? Intergenerationally, they didn't know how to communicate. They didn't know how to try to make something better. And this is why as well, right? From the paradigm of what I was just talking about of how, you know, all souls are here and to choose love. Well, this goes for kids as well, right? Most people many people have had children and they wouldn't even be able to answer why they actually had a child. Like why, right? Because they never made the energy or made the effort to actually consciously, right, participate. If that makes any sense at all. Rowan, I'm doing well. Hope you're doing awesome, Genevieve. He's doing okay. Life is special. I don't know. I don't really have words for how it's just everything's good. Michelle, my mother would always threaten to leave us or to kill herself, so I never did that with Nick. No judgments, just different philosophies. Jeanette, when we know better, we do better, Michelle. Alice, hugs if anyone needs them. Rar, hugs back, sweetie. He loves you. Michelle's like, I definitely need a hug. Boom. Jeanette as well, eh? I worked on letting that shit go for a long time. And I let it go when I realized he was raised by a World War II war veteran. Yeah. Yeah. We come from generations of embedded children are meant to be, you know, seen and not heard. Girls especially sit and look pretty, don't rock the boat, blah, 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 right? So, you know, seeing it from one perspective, no wonder we can't collectively bring in a timeline of peace. Most people don't even have peace in their own homes, right? So the ripple effect of people everywhere across the world not actually having inner peace in their own self and home, you know, is the collective shit show that is our world right now. Michelle, a veteran friend of mine, is in dire straits, alcoholic. I'm not sure what to say about that, Mitch, but I do know that things are shifting very fast. And ultimately, souls have already chosen. Whatever's playing out is what people have chosen, right? It's very sad to witness because nothing I tried helped. I had to exit stage left. It's heartbreaking. Yep. Yep. It's the same like those community posts I've shared in the last 48 hours about, you know, your conspiracy theorist friends are the ones who are actually trying to save your health. It's not the doctors or the government, right? But how many people have lived timelines in the last 2 to 3 years, 1 year, whatever, where families have separated, or, you know, families have give no credibility to a certain member of the family because we are this or we are that, and they're still, to this day, right now, this moment, don't realize we were never trying to do anything yucky. We were just trying to give you information to save you, to be able to make wise choices for yourself, right? So for myself, I had nobody left in my family. Nobody. No one, right? And ain't nobody calling me up or saying like, wow, you know, whether it's my own children or anybody, saying like, oh my God, Mom, I didn't, you know, because I never tried to bully or change anybody's mentality. You want to believe in this or that, go do it. But doesn't mean I won't talk facts or put certain information out there. So yeah, you know, people want to be on the precipice and believe everything's fine, everything's fine. Meanwhile, Swan. It's funny, I saw an image of 2 swans before I started the live stream. Swan, Spirit, time for a deep dive. 60 triple sixes with the cards. Rowan. Whoa, I'm a veteran and it took me years to adapt to civilian life. It gets better if you make the right choices, especially when it comes to toxic people. Stay away from them at all costs. Whoa, dude. Thanks for sharing that. Yes. Exactly. Hey, Dee. How you doing, Derek Guthrie? You came in at the same time as Swan Energy, dude. Do you have swans close to you or around where you live? And I asked that because I'm right at this, like there's swans about 2 hours to the south of me, but they don't necessarily come here. Is it possible to see a swan? Yes, but it's not common. They stay about 2 hours south, and then they can be way more common and, you know, just see them anywhere, but not here. Shaw, misery loves company. I think we're flipping that to, you know what I mean, where it was so much easier to thrive from anger and misery and still be able to function. Or we talked about this the other day in a live stream where, you know, some people need anger to be able to be constructive, right? So somebody who wakes up, gets pissed off, but then is able to execute their whole day, their job, because they're pissed. They're blaming somebody else, right? My boss is this, my coworker is this. Everybody pisses me off, but they're still able to, like, they function. They're getting the job done. But I believe we're totally flipping into another paradigm where if you're walking around bitching and moaning and feeling that misery loves company, misery doesn't love company. You're not going to be able to be as effective anymore, right? And again, I could be wrong. I'm always constantly shocked of just how some people who are very toxic, miserable, people flock to them even more than they will to people who don't project and do or say yucky shit, right? So a lot of people still need a certain amount of drama, but I don't believe it can sustain, right? Swan, time for a deep dive. With their graceful long neck, swans are able to reach into the depths. When swan spirit arrives, you're called to take a deep dive beyond what is easily available on the surface. You may think you know what's best for you now, but when you take the plunge into the depths of your own awareness, where there's a knowledge you're not aware of, and a great treasure to be discovered, deeper understanding awaits you, and a perspective that comes from a greater self-knowledge is what you need right now to better understand a situation or a relationship. As you come to know yourself more intimately, so will you come to know others better. Swan Spirit asks you to go beyond the surface of what is happening between you and others and resist the temptation to judge by superficial appearances. Know that there's a much deeper potential for loving connections, forgiveness, mutual understanding. Choose to deep dive into your why. Asking the deeper questions to yourself, you are led by the grace of Swan Spirit. Okay, I'm going to read the protection message too. Don't talk yourself into diving deep into something just because you see the potential of things instead of how they really are. The necessary work and patience involved might not be the best use of your energy. Have you seen the potential in someone, and if you think if you love and support them, they will become, well, we were talking about this a lot during the live stream, right? Have you seen the potential in someone, and if you think you can love them and support them, and they will become the person who knows that you love them beyond all measure? Have you stepped into an opportunity that you know feels too good to be true, and it might not turn out the way you hope? Now is not the time for a selective, limited perspective that can lead you to misjudgment. Instead, this is a time for going deep, being honest about what you find as you explore the depths. Have no fear, for whatever you find below will help you love and understand yourself and others, and you're going to make better choices. Can you sense Swan Spirit calling you to deep dive and then to resurface so that you can choose again? Okay, I gotta move around and just go, my nose is just all of a sudden like randomly leaky. That was weird. Mitch, yeah. I'm thinking that addiction to the endorphins from anger and drama. Rowan, yeah. It's a chaos energy some swear by, but I found that I run better with a clear mind and a good heart. Yeah. And again, everything is just conspiring for people to be their truest, bestest selves, right? And so here's the thing, whether other people want to thrive off the chaos, there's too many of us who are here to just balance that out. We're not going to allow people to sustain it, right? It's like for myself, whenever I had teams of people, right, that I was in charge of a kitchen or a whole restaurant or a motel, right? Just when I was in charge of stuff, when there was the weakest link of somebody on a team, so if I had a team of 5, 10, 15, 20, 35, 50 people, right? When someone's the weakest link that's thriving off chaos, bringing in negative all the time, there's ways to go one-on-one and see, like, what the fuck's actually happening, right? Because somebody bringing in chaos to a team, always bringing a team down, always talking negative, they could be going through something so bad or so fucking horrible in their personal life that once you know, and you can bring empathy and compassion around the situation, that weakest link of your team can be the biggest asset because they've got witness, they feel heard, they feel seen, right? And sometimes the weakest link of a team is like, I gave you every chance I could, you're fired. It doesn't work anymore, right? You're fired. You know as well as I do that you're not happy here. You're bitching and moaning and complaining and playing all this stuff. You should have quit yourself if you didn't like it. And now you're fired, right? This being said, if you want references for the jobs that you were able to do, I'll give you good references, but you're still fired. Yep, I've done that before, right? Aw, thank you, sweetie. Not Joe Duncan. Thank you for your light. Thanks for for writing that. You're welcome. Yeah, Mitch. Beautiful. Look deeper. Protection message. Sure, Derek. I'll take a card for the week. Okay. I'm grabbing one of these for you, Derek. Denise Lynn, Native Spirit. Picking it for Derek because he asked, but if anybody else feels that the message is resonates or anything's important to them, grab it. Grab it. And the card just flipped out. Spirit Keeper of the West. The sun, the mountains, and that orange. That orangey energy. I love it. Card is gorgeous. Spirit Keeper of the West. Transformation. Letting go of the old. Initiation. Illumination. Harvest. Gather your inner resources. If it doesn't feel right, don't go ahead. Boom. That's the second card. This one as well was implying this. Hi, Scully. Me sees you, sweetie. Happy Monday, dude. This card, you came in at the same time as this card, Derek, and the protection message was, right, if certain things look like they're not working out, they're not gonna. If it doesn't feel right, don't go ahead. Trust your heart. Chaos brings positive change. Boom. Good, what I was just saying, right, about an employee who's more like negative or chaotic, dramatic even, you can bring positive change and flip it. But through the chaos comes the magic as well, right? Although we always have had free will to make certain choices, a lot of us need to be like, boom, right at the brink of everything before we're going to make a choice or change something that's really big, right? So once that tower moment, the chaos, it will bring positive change, even if it doesn't feel like it sometimes at the time. Almost all change comes out of turmoil. So don't be concerned if there's confusion in your life right now, because it will work itself out. Spirit Keeper of the West reminds us, slow down our rapid growth. Harvest what we have attained. In the autumn, leaves are burned and make way for new growth. Release the dross in your life to make way for new growth. Hope there's something in there that that resonates with you, dude. Alice, yes, about the chaos energy. It's like when I leave projects to last minute because I could only work in that stress zone to complete anything. It left me feeling like I'm constantly hanging from a cliff. Yeah. This being said, sweetie, Alice, there's so many things that we weren't meant to be able to do it all and embody and do every fucking thing. Right? Nature works in harmony together to be able to sustain itself. Only humans leave other humans, and everybody's supposed to just, right? You're grown up, go take care of your own fucking self now. Right? The program that this independent woman shed, and that if you're a mother, you're supposed to be able to work, do the home, do this, do that, and everything's supposed to be so fucking easy. And we've seen now, right, how what the fuck that has done to society in the Western world, of thinking that we can be everything a man can be at the same time as we're trying to be the woman and raise children and blah, 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 right? We've been so programmed to be separated that we think that we're supposed to be able to do so much within one day, 1 week, 1 year alone. But intergenerationally, people had, right, support to do certain things. It's like the 40-hour work week. A 40-hour work week was conceived with the intention that somebody was doing the house things. The homemaker, right? So 40 hours for the person who exits and goes and does stuff, and then 40 hours for the person who's actually in the home keeping it together. But once you strip that, and then two people are supposed to go and to be able to afford a fucking house, and it's not even enough anymore, depending on some, right? Some neighborhoods, some places, to be two people making salaries of hundreds of thousands of dollars is still not even enough to fucking provide for what the basic fucking needs are in certain communities in this world. Right? It's surreal. Like, I've got family in California, and it's like when they know what a certain house is worth and what it looks like in certain places here in Canada, and what that is actually, right, in certain places of San Jose and California and stuff, and it's just like, it's inconceivable to them. I remember when I was about 19, my cousins came, 19 or 20, and my cousins came from California, and their biggest fucking, like, whoa, was like, holy shit, we can flush the toilet every time we go pee if we want. I was like, well, yeah. And it's like, it's not like that at home. We pay for water. Like, holy shit, I can take a shower until the hot water runs out. I was like, yeah, go ahead. Oh, we can't do this in California, right? I ain't taken a shower, had a hot bath, all of that. Because how the paradigm that they live in was so different from ours. And this was in the 90s. So imagine now, right? Rowan tingles. You're the best, Scully. Derek, being a boss ain't easy. I've been a boss, and I've also been, I've also had like a building where I was, you know, a landlord, right? So I've been a tenant, but I've also been on the other side. I've been an employee, but I've also been the owner, or, you know, the highest manager that's doing everything for the owner. So seeing all perspectives, right? So because I've been an owner, or because I've been at this here, when I've worked in other jobs and everybody's like bitching and moaning about stuff, and it's like, have you ever told the boss that you don't like doing this? Have you ever told? Right? And most people, oh, no, I never. Well, why the fuck are you bitching to me? If you don't like certain things, but you've never went and looked the boss in the eye and said what you feel, what you think, how's he supposed to know? Right? That was one of the biggest things, like open communication with my teams of like, shit, if you know, I had one woman who was like a single mom when I had like, you know, 30 people right? Under me, that I was caring for their life on some level, right? And one of the things that always shocked her is like if she called me and said, I can't be there, my son is sick, it was like, okay, tell me it's fine, right? It's fine. Like there was no, oh, you have to be here, you can't do this to me, you gotta work. It's like, fine, I'll figure it out, right? If somebody called and said like, I can't fucking come to work, my boyfriend just dumped me and I can't even breathe and blah blah blah, and it was like, fine, get a hold of yourself as fast as you fucking can, come to me if you need some mom energy, and let me know when you can come back. Like, what the fuck? Making people come to work, you have to be here. No. If somebody's not going to be able to function at work properly, they could get hurt. They're not safe. What they're pumping out is energy and food. When you're working in food and somebody's like bitching and moaning and all that, ew, right? Get your fucking energy and go home. Take your energy and stay home. And how productive that makes a team when they know the boss has their back, right? Like shit, I did like excess hours all the time because there's always, like with a big team, there's always somebody who can't show up. But then again, because I had teams that like cared about each other, if I called and said like, you know, so and so can't be here, oh, I'll be there in an hour, right? I can't get there until 3 hours, Michelle. It's like, okay, but you can come in 3 hours. Yeah, I can be there in 3 hours. Okay, awesome, boom. You know, Michelle, the universe had to make us uncomfortable or we wouldn't have moved. The proverbial gun to the head. Derek, thanks. Nothing seems like it's ending. Only time will tell. Mitch, like Chris Mitch, getting shot down because he was fuming. Yeah. Jeanette, I worked like a mad woman, and now they're all grown and I hardly work now. Yeah. Exactly. We've been so programmed to do so much when our children are young, right? And then that's why I had 2 children and I put them in the school system and they did go to daycare and I was working 150 hours a fucking week sometimes in the summer and stuff. Me knows all that me missed, right? Me knows. So of course I would never do it the same way with another one. Exactly, Rowan. Most Westerners are programmed to attain material possessions instead of pursuing their true self and dreams. Consumerism is a spiritual disease. Yeah, exactly. How many people, kind of that awakening of like, everything I ever did was because I was programmed to do it. I didn't really, like, I did it of my own free will, but that's not what I ever wanted for myself, right? Type of thing. I saw this with even my daughter's friends in high school. Some of them, like, oh, just striving for this and that and so many things in high school. And it's like, boom, after a year or two on their own and in different ways, like, none of that was real, right? They weren't that person. They were making themselves be that person to please their parents, their families, the expectations, right? But they weren't able to consistently keep doing that. Shall I no longer exchanging in relationships that don't involve equal energy exchanges? Jeanette, I worked 24-hour shifts for many years. I really got nothing to show for it either. Dude, yeah. For all the work I put in, all the jobs and all the effort, I was always the lowest paid chef because I was a woman, and I don't got nothing to show for it either compared to, right? Other people who worked as, yeah. Derek, if you didn't do sports all the time, what would you have done? Parents are definitely working 100 hours a week, even if 45 is on a clock. Exactly. Yeah. I never did sports, Derek. I worked. I took care of my sister. I babysat and did stuff like when I was in high school and stuff. I never did the sport way. Yeah. For me, my parents, no matter how much they worked, they were always very present. You know what I mean? Hey, Scratch. How's it going, dude? Okay. Derek, we're always taking these kids everywhere for sports. Not much time left for us. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I resonate. I understand sports and stuff, but there's a part of me that doesn't because I can see to what point, right? Like for a team of, I don't know, 20 kids, and then those 20 kids, there's like 5 different or 6 different or 100 different, whatever leagues. If you really asked every kid one-on-one, are you happy to be playing this? Are you doing it for yourself? It would be interesting to see what the answers are. Because a lot of the childhood memories that people have is the simplest things that their parents didn't have to do a lot of effort, but that they were there compared to all the running around, all the lessons, all the stuff, right? Meeps. Okay, well, Meeps says, Jen, I won't even say it out loud. Is he close? Can he hear me? Jen, I'm eating bacon. Don't tell Ricky. I won't. How's it going, Meeps? I've been thinking about you. Ooh, ooh. How's it going, Meeps? Jeanette says survival timelines. Michelle, LOL, over that part of my life right now. Alice, I've always done everything for myself, by myself, mostly out of necessity, and you're right, it's not enough. It's exhausting. It's very surreal, and I couldn't imagine doing it with kids, too. Roar. Yeah. Yeah. Love you, sweetie. Roar, Amber. Good for you, sweetie. Hey, I meant to tell you I got another raise today. I'm feeling proud. Good. Rowan, I think it's ridiculous some of these parents screaming at their kids or the coach. All these ball games. I'm embarrassed for all of them. Yeah. Some of the energy of passing by when there's activities actually feels very ritualistic. It feels like a ritual. It doesn't feel like the way it's supposed to feel, right? It doesn't feel beautiful and light and childlike. It feels very like a ritual. Hey, Return of Cat's Eyes. Roar, thanks for coming in, sweetie. I like your streams you're doing lately. How's your day gone today, sweetie? Monday. Alice, thanks for this space. Such a wonderful people here. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Thank you to everyone. You guys manifest the best conversations, the best chat. Calm, cool, all-inclusive, no yucky. I'm so proud of everybody. Thank you, guys. It's important to have places where it just feels safe, eh? Like that safe haven feeling, the sanctum. Right? It is. I've gone into certain places or live streams and stuff, certain timelines, and it's like, I don't feel even close to safe at all. So it's like really important to me that we manifest and we sustain that, guys. Meep says Ricky's asleep, allegedly, 5 miles away. Okay, so I can't say bacon too loud at this point. 5 miles, he should be good and not here. But seriously, I think if we say it too much, he might wake up. He might wake up from a dream and be like calling you saying, I dreamed you were snarfing bacon, Meeps. What's up with that? Michelle, I never imagined I'd be changing diapers at 50. Yeah, sweetie. Alice, I gotta run, do some chores. Have a great evening, everyone. You as well, sweetie. Thanks for taking the time to be here. Je t'aime, ma belle. Je t'aime à la folie, je t'aime à la folie. Je t'aime à la folie, je t'aime à la folie. Alice, I don't know if you're still here or not, but Alice is one of my angels who came into my timelines last year. January, February. And she's been consistent ever since. Gonna meet her one day. Shock the horse poop out of you. Not out of you, but away from you. Because she has horses. Anyways, that's not how I meant it to come out. Oh my god. Oh. Yeah. Awesome, Amber. Rowan, I'm gonna blue you. It feels weird to see the gray. And as a moderator, you can go and grab other people's channels. You can share your stuff. My nose is just randomly dripping. You doing good, Cat's Eyes? Rawr. He's glad. That shocked me the other day, hey? Cats, when I went into your panel, well, not into the panel, but when I went into the live stream the other day and I was like, okay, Cats is there, Alex is there. I was like, who's the dude in the corner? Who's that dude in the corner? And it's like, is that Jason? Is that Jason? And you're like, yes, that's me. Yes, that's him. It's like, oh my God. It's like a dream come true. Your Trinity energy is really solid, Kat. I find that Trinities for panels work very well usually. The power of 3. And although some panels can be like amazing even if there's more people, like the power of 3 and what you can, manifest, especially when it's like to have deep conversations or, share knowledge and stuff. I find that the Trinity, the power of 3, they say 3 is a crowd, right, for some things, but I think within live streams and certain panels and stuff, 3 is just like raw, perfect. Because you get the gist of everyone speaking. Nobody's like, doesn't have to speak over anybody. There's like a harmony and a flow, especially when that Trinity is strong. I know for myself, when Allie, Dean, and I, when we did our stuff where we gathered, the power of the 3 of us was just like spot on. Right? Allie would pull cards, I would pull cards, they would mirror each other. We just had different decks, different interpretations, but the same messages would be mirrored. Like it held its own. I remember telling Allie, if you ever doubt your gifts, this is a way to anchor in like the knowing. When 2 people pull cards across the world or across like different places, and we're bringing up the same energy, the same frequency, and the same message for someone who has asked for a card, right? When it's not like completely opposing messages, when it's the same flow, just different, right? Different colors, different numbers. How beautiful that is. Rar. Oh, Meeps, Ricky's psychic. He always knows what I'm doing. I swear he's possessed, Jen. I feel that way a lot. I don't feel ever that I'm possessed, but I know that I'm psychic, knowing, certain things or, mirroring certain things of other people that I'm synced with. No way, Amber. I totally didn't know it was Jason until the end of the stream last night. Seen here, it was like, whoa. Oh, me, it was like on Friday night, was it? The last other one before last night? And I swear, I entered that stream and it was just like, who's that dude in the corner? Like, I said hello, but then it was just like, who's that dude in the corner? Like, I don't often go into panel like, live streams with people that I know consistently for over 2.5 years, minimum 3 now, and not know somebody. So it's like, who is this new person, right? But I don't know. It was awesome. It was an awesome feeling. And it was weird because there was a part of me, I knew that it was him without knowing, because the consistency of certain things that he was saying out loud matched how when Jason will write certain things within certain live chats, right? Yeah, horse shit. I didn't mean it the way that I meant it, in a good way. Trinity, 1, 2, twee. It's the 1, 2, 3, the turd energy, right? The 1, 2, and the turd. Good things comes in threes. Be right back. Food check meeps. Right on. Okay, never ending story, 37. Self-criticism, the wounded ego, and unnecessary dramas. Okay. The Oracle's message. There's a story woven through the imperfect fabric of life that tells of hurt and loss, rejection, humiliation, self-loathing, and arrogance. And all manner of suffering is born of unnecessary dramas. It is the old story whose refrain is that you cannot do this, that you must not go there, that you should not say that, lest your world come crumbling down. Today, know that none of this is actually true. The sky is not falling. The voice you hear is a small, scared, conditioned part of you that got stuck in a lie. It wants to protect you, and it needs you to be seen as a victim. Love that lost part of you, because fear is all that it knows. Distorted guidance is preventing you from being true to yourself. You are not your story, and the narrator is the small voice of your fearful past. It's small, vulnerable, and it can be easily soothed. Right? One thing I realized, and I was 50 fucking years old, is that 3/4 of the voices in my head that nag and bitch at me or to make me feel like a piece of shit, it wasn't mine. It wasn't me that was being hard on me all that time all along. It was the exact echoes of certain things, certain people, but it wasn't even me. And when I really put like, boom, right? Boom. No contact, no more enabling anything, and then being told, that's not what I meant, that's not what I said, you don't remember it the right way, and eliminated the real voices from my life. How? Boom. It took away, right? The imprint of the stuff that I thought I was saying to myself, but it wasn't me. But it was being said to me in ways that were always like this, right? And I know I've said this before, Michelle, but I'm going to say it again. It's because of you imprinting me for the last 3 fucking years, and especially within the first 6 months of knowing me, and how you'd come into the streams consistently and you'd be shocked of my memory. And at first I'd be like, what are you talking about? I don't remember things really good, right? I've been programmed my whole fucking life to think that I don't remember certain things very well. But that was all bullshit all along. And it was you and others who started, right, imprinting me by seeing my consistency day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, that, oh my God, I can remember somebody of Soul Tribe that I only saw once, had one conversation, only ever made one comment with in 2019. Remember that person, where they live, what their dog's name is, and started to really realize, okay, I can't read something and then tell somebody verbatim exactly what it means. That part of my memory is not spot on. Can I explain things through my words? Fuck yeah, right? But I didn't realize I had been puppeted and gaslit, or even not even knowing, right? Not even saying other people are bad or evil or not good or whatever, all the time of that's not what really happened. Or you don't remember properly, or what are you even talking about? But it's like the realizing that I was sober all along for 50 fucking years, but other people weren't the same way. And how functioning alcoholics who, consistently believe their own story won't believe anything else, even if it's right in front of them, even if they're not drinking, or even if, right? They can have something right in front of them and still not believe it. And that, with the COVID timelines, that helped to like solidify that, right? But me didn't know that my memory bank was so good because I'd been told so many times my whole fucking life that's not what really happened. But it's like, and when you're the only one, right? You're the only one. Nobody else wants to remember it the way that right? But I still did. And I realized like years ago, if I actually filmed people or voice recorded when they spoke, how shocked people would be, or not even shocked and just be like, that's not even real. That's not even me. And it's like, yes, it is. Yes, it is. You know what I mean? Like, to what point people would even deny that's not me, but it is, you know? Anyways. Relationship message. Sometimes our heart enters into a contract with another that results in pain, but not because of abuse or neglect, but for some other more complex reasons. Shame, fear of intimacy, low self-esteem are the greatest challenges to the success of any relationship. Consider how valuable this knowledge is. Right now, you have an opportunity for important healing, but you must reflect on the stories you weave about love, connection, abandonment, rejection, and loneliness. Not only do you need to begin a new story, you need to forgive yourself for telling yourself the old stories over and over. Have compassion for the part of you that believes all the narratives, because none of them were ever true anyway. Exactly. And that doesn't mean that the things that happened to us weren't true, but if we only had one perspective and kept repeating the same thing over and over, or believing the same thing over and over, right? And last but not least, protection message. This is a time to avoid drama at all costs, especially when it comes to other people's stuff. Your sensitivity is on overload, and you're best served by keeping your distance. Your mantra is, not my circus, not my monkey. Drama will pass, you will carry on, unscathed and blameless. Indeed, right now, one of the things that you can be sure, as soon as somebody's, whatever energy that feels like llama drama bullshit, blaming, projection, words that are just spewed out with, like, if some people actually heard themselves speak, and that phrase that they said, or that hour that they talked, or that 5 minutes that they talked, would be brought up like next week or next month, or said right in front of, another kind of crowd, would you be actually proud of yourself, right? Or would you actually want to be accountable for those words, or for being present within certain dramas? Because did you know a bully can't bully other people if you don't enable that bully? That's the truth. Somebody who wants to put other people down, call other people names, if nobody gives that person any attention at all, and people actually stand up and say, what the fuck? You're always coming in here, poking, calling names, blaming everybody. What is your actual, right? Where are you coming from? What's your wound? Or get out. Get out of here. Right? You're always coming here and you're, get out. Come back if you want to fucking play nice. And I say this, and I've done this to when I work bars or when I have my restaurant. When shit was starting to like look like it was hitting the fan, I took people aside and said, you want me to drive you home? Or you want somebody else to drive you home? Because you can't stay. Oh, I can fucking stay if I want. No, you can't. It's my place. And what you're starting here right now doesn't have, right? Would you rather sit down, enjoy your fucking night, calm your fucking pom-poms of what you're popping off on? Or do you want to get driven home? Right? That's it. And the threat when people would look at me and I won't come here anymore, you can't tell me what to do. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you what's fucking acceptable. There's 20 people here right now. 20. And you are causing trouble. You are trying to like make it that other people are getting riled up. And I see through it all. That's it. And this is the advantage of this is my building. And even other places where I worked, I was by myself in the middle of fucking nowhere, guys, sometimes, where it was like I had full reign. Like, holy shit, that's it. Why? Because I had to protect my own fucking body by myself, no fucking bouncer, no one to call, no one to say, like, hey, somebody come fucking help me. I'm just a little fucking girl here by my fucking self, trying to hold this fucking whole crowd together. Right? And accountability. Especially when people were drinking and how easy it is. It's easy to steer something to keep like, wow, we're all having fun. This is so amazing. This is so awesome. I feel so good. Than to allow for the squeaky wheel to keep on squeaking. And how many people like were so pissed at me and I'll never come back. Then don't. Because if you're fucking squeaky wheel now, you're going to keep squeaking later. Either come back and be fucking happy and fucking peaceful, or tell us what's actually wrong, right? Because 3/4 of people, you know, they would tell me either in that moment or later the next day, they'd come back and have a coffee and they'd be alone with me and they'd be like, I'm so fucking fucked up. You know, this and this is happening in my reality. And, you know, and 3/4 of it was huge. It was traumatic stuff that was happening in their life. Their wife just got cancer and they didn't know how to deal with it, for example. You know, just so many things. But once somebody was honest enough to be able to say, like, this is why I'm the fucking squeaky wheel, why I'm always like an asshole all the time. And it's like, whoa, that person who actually got witness, felt heard and seen, had empathy and compassion, never would act the same way again. Right? Because when somebody's trying to bully other people or be mean or cruel, there's a reason for it. And when other people choose, I don't want to watch the drama and see how it plays out. I'm stopping this. I'm going to stop it. Instead of, let's just see what happens. I love a good cat fight. Right? I love a good cat fight. Well, I don't. Right? Cats go off and fight by them fucking selves in the fucking like neighborhood. I can't separate them, but I can surely stand up in the middle of like whatever I'm in. And, right? Anyways, I'm going to catch up with the chat. And that's the thing is that, you know, I might sound like, oh, I wouldn't have never liked to go where you worked. And it's like, bullshit. You would have loved it. Why? Because as a masculine or as a feminine, you would have felt safe. Right? If you were one woman coming in and having drinks, they knew they were safe. They knew it. That the mama bear aspect of me would have never let anything happen under my watch. Nobody ever came back the next day to tell me I was roofied or I was raped or I was fucking hurt by anybody. In all of the time I've ever worked in public places. Ever, ever, ever. Ever. Considering the world that we live in and how fucking crackpot people are, that's pretty good fucking average, I find, right? But it's because if people were coming and they came from somewhere else and I didn't even know them and they were acting in ways that it didn't fit, and it was very easy to kind of steer them into the like whatever, right? Either you fit in or you get out. That's it. Meep says, P.S. I meant I was about to eat some more bacon. I'd already eaten in my mind. Guilty as charged. Amber says, like my mom says, hide and watch. I'm doing it. And I say, but why do you gotta hide? Me too, Rowan. I feel like time is speeding up these days. Yeah. I as well. And if you really need to bend time to slow it down for certain things, it is completely possible right now as well, though. But yes, we're at an accelerated pace collectively, but it is possible within certain, within an individual's choices to slow certain things down. I don't know how to explain that better right now, but it is possible to bend time, to slow it down a little bit more, to be able to get certain things done, or right. And sometimes it's like a matter of priorities, what is actually truly important versus what you think you have to do. Yes, our minds are magic. Rowan, absolutely 100%. You are what you constantly think. That is the real magic. Exactly. So some people on the outside speak a bunch of different ways, but what they're actually thinking inside, right, is not so pretty. But that's actually the energy that is felt. So for many of us, like we don't have a choice. We're there at an embodiment where you can say everything you want, you can filter yourself, you can edit and script, but we know, sis, we feel it. Energy doesn't lie. I can hear your thoughts when they're toxic, when you're projecting. You can be saying everything beautifully out loud, but the thought that overpowers, right? So the whole aura, the energy, the colors around somebody, right? It's just yuck. We know. And that's why the card's saying avoid and stay away from drama at all costs, because there's so many people right now that in order to step into a higher version of themselves, the yucky shit has to come out first. Michelle, I'm so grateful for every relationship I learned from each. Exactly, Amber. I had to recognize that today people and their yucky problems is not mine. Meep says, LOL, Jen. Kiddo, but you're right, Jen. It's like, out, out, out you go. Yeah. I never, though, I'm very middle road. And even if I didn't like a motherfucker, I was still able to serve and help them feel like they were safe, even if they knew I didn't like them. Right? So I'll give the example of, I don't know, if somebody fucked with me, like a dude wise, and he'd fucked with me, and it was like, okay, what you and I had, fine, done. You come hang out all you want, but don't cross the line, right? And it was like, because it's like I always lived and worked in small towns, right, or very small areas, so everybody knows everybody, and somebody's going to always be coming back around, right? It's not like super big cities where if you have a certain dynamic of friendships or intimacy with somebody, you're never gonna fucking see them again unless you go to the same places on purpose to see them, right? You can avoid a fucking coffee shop or the place where somebody works when there's 100 other fucking coffee shops to choose from. But especially when I had my restaurant, I was the only restaurant in town. There's nowhere else to go drink. Right? It was very easy to say to somebody, if you don't like it here, go somewhere else. Because there was nowhere else. If they wanted to go somewhere else, they had to drive 15 to 20 fucking kilometers. And nobody was there. They were with me at my place. So it's like, either buck up or fucking shut up. And again, not in a mean or controlling way, in ways sometimes that nobody even knew. Right? You can take somebody aside, or discreetly when somebody goes to have a cigarette or goes to the bathroom or whatever it is, or comes to ask for a drink, do certain things. And you can have 20 people, 50 people, 100 people, and nobody actually witness any fucking drama at all because you're taking care of it in a way that, right, just gets done. It's so possible. Jeanette, I worked with young people in and out of home care, usually only one worker, and 3 to 4 traumatized teenagers. So if I didn't take control of the situation, then the situation got worse so much for all of us. Exactly, sweetie. That's it exactly. You get what I'm saying. Yeah. Rowan, trauma of all types is hard to deal with, but we do have control of the steps we take to deal with it. Meep says it's complex, Rowan. It is complex, but in a way it's not, Meeps. Because if we all see each other through the lens of everyone is wounded or has been wounded, and everyone, every single fucking person everywhere has some sort of trauma. So you can see people through the eyes and the lens of love. And if you're actually ready to witness, hold space, and ask people in certain ways, like how close harmony and unity actually is, instead of feeling like it's like not reachable, impossible. And how, when we don't enable people to be in victim mode, but instead elevate them to feel seen, heard, and witnessed, that no matter what the trauma we've gone through, we're all on an equal plane of having had that. How ultimately it's the egos, right, that don't want to let go, because the egos are protecting us. Ego isn't bad. It's trying to protect you from being hurt again, from being used, abused, right? All this stuff. But how, when you allow yourself to tell someone else for real and have witness, how much of a game changer that can be, right? It's huge. Michelle, all behavior is either love or call for love. Treating anyone like emotional speed bag is not acceptable. Exactly. I get it that people who choose to project on me or treat me certain ways, it is a call for love. But depending on the situations when certain things happen, like, Jesus Christ, holy fucking shit, I'm 51 years old. I'm fucking sick of being crucified, being held accountable, or somebody trying to like blame me. Like, again, I ain't your mama. I didn't do that stuff. I am not your fucking ex, and I'm definitely not your girlfriend who treats you a certain way. So, you know, the things you couldn't say to your mom and you're going to tell them to me instead, that role is getting fucking old, right? Especially if you played it over and over, year after year, or whatever amount of times. Because I can understand somebody seeing me as a woman, that they want to test me or poke at me, but how much consistency or whatever do I have to have, right, in order for me not to get, right, those words, that projection. Jeanette, I used to ask myself, how am I feeling before I tried to control anything? And if I wasn't in control of my feelings, then chaos reigned. Exactly. Yep. Yep. I never realized, though, how middle road or neutral I was, you know what I mean? Until, you know, years and years and years after, right? Like, people would tell me, I love being here when you're working. I love this, I love that. Da, da, da. But I didn't get it. I didn't get it. Meeps, I got my first speeding ticket a few days ago. I've been driving since 1984. I didn't even know my old van could speed. Oh my gosh, Meeps. Meep. Hey, that way. I was wondering if you were here coming in, dude. Meeps, Jen, it's complex because everyone does not reason like you and me and Rowan, etc. People are unpredictable. Yeah, Meeps. People can be unpredictable, but they're programmed to enjoy and to thrive, to want the drama, right? Like, I mean, turn on any type of reality TV type of shit, and it's like you'll hear people spewing obscenities and swearing, and like, oh, it's like like I watched the first season of Survivor way back, right? When Survivor started, whatever year was the first season, and it was like the concept of it was just like, what the fuck? So now we're in front of a camera and she did this and she did that, and tomorrow we're gonna do this, and like, what the fuck? Like, but this has been pumped into people like for fucking like over 20 years now. Like, it's just normal for people to be in a room, talk bad about somebody, then invite that person for supper or for dinner or to their baby's fucking baby shower. It's just normal, but it's not, right? That's the programming to separate people, to have them be untrue, right? Not of integrity. Hey, Renegade Musings. Just dropping in between house cleaning. Rawr, sweetie. Right on. Thank you. Jeanette, when you've looked at your own trauma and behaviors, it's easier to understand someone else's motive. Then again, when it's used in a negative way, it's manipulation, and that's what is projected. Yeah. Aw, thanks, Rowan. Really enjoyed this. See you soon, hopefully, Genevieve and chat. I hope you all have a nice, relaxing evening. Take care. Roar, thank you so much, dude. Thanks for coming in. Felt really good. Thanks for adding to the chat. Appreciate it. It's been an awesome stream, guys. For me to like be 9 days, right? Silent, not be able to like come up and do what I just do. This has been nice, guys. Thank you so much, everybody. Meep says, take care, Rowan. You're a very bright light. Yeah. Shaw, these messages were needed. Exactly, Meeps. It's complex because the programming, the conditioning, and the collateral damage is deep. Yeah. It's deep, but what's shocking to me is within the, spiritual community or whatever, when you have certain knowledge, embody that shit. You can't just say you are an empath. Embody that shit. Otherwise, you're just using a word because it's trending. That's fucking it. Right? Everybody believes they're the empath. Nobody fesses up to, fuck, I've acted, excuse me, in controlling or manipulative ways. Right? Okay, I need to move around. Not sure why. My throat's jamming up. But it is. Excuse me. Oh my God. It's like at some point, Meeps, the complexity of the programming, conditioning, and the collateral damage is still just a fucking excuse, and it's a baby blanket, especially if you have certain knowings, right? At some point, the knowledge is supposed to bring in wisdom. You can't just say you know things if you're not embodying them. It doesn't even count, right? So you can say you're of love, but if you're not actually embodying that, you're not there yet. You're of fear, programming and projecting fear everywhere. Right? Like fuck. No way, Michelle. First season of Survivor, I went into labor watching it. No way. Oh my God. That's hilarious. Oh my God. Yeah, I watched the whole first season, and then when the second season, it was just like, I can't do this anymore. Like, it's just like my ex-husband watched it, and I just read or did other shit. I just couldn't watch it anymore. That's hilarious. Amber, I missed you. I'm glad you got the rest, though. Jeanette, it's been awesome, Jen. Thanks for showing up today. Roar. Thanks for writing that out, guys. It was definitely not planned. I felt like there was a part of me that felt inspired this afternoon. And then after my giggles, like, it wasn't even a giggle, it was like a whole laughing fit. It's like something dislodged inside of me and was just being guided to come back in. That way, Rowan, gently down the stream. Exactly, Michelle. I really don't care about people yapping about their philosophies or what they think they are. Embody it. Because if you're an embodiment, you don't need to explain to me what you are. I already feel it. Right? So the power of certain people who have come in here consistently for years, they don't do videos, they don't do live streams, but their consistency of who they are, it speaks for itself. Right? There's certain people that I would not hesitate if I was in Ireland to say, like, hey, I'm here. How's it going? Because they didn't rack up this big boat of what they thought they were. They didn't tell me they were fucking Jesus or Thoth or whatever. They just have been embodied masculine or feminines straight up for fucking years, consistently. Right? They didn't willy-nilly all of a sudden just change how they saw me because all of a sudden I said like 3 fucking words that they didn't like. So I didn't become from on a pedestal to evil and narcissist overnight, right? All that shit. All that shit speaks for itself. Amber, it makes me want to waltz with the big fancy dresses in a ballroom. Oh my God. I've wanted to do that, but I just haven't had the balls. I've got some fancy dresses that there's nowhere for me to wear them, and I've just been wanting to just start a night stream with my fancy dress and my like super fancy necklace and just be like, hey y'all, let's hang out. And haven't had the balls. I don't like manifesting attention. That's why I wear so many fucking layers, right? I don't like manifesting attention towards my body and all that shit. Excuse me, I don't know how to press mute while I cough. That way. I love that music box. Good night, my brain. Amber, maybe I'm having flashbacks. Ooh, yes, past lifetimes, waltzing, fancy dresses. Especially with that song. Yep. Meeps Jen, you're another bright light. As for me, a lesson I learned way back was to realize that not everyone sees and experiences life through my eyes and heart. I once thought everyone was like me. Me too. I realized a long time ago, not everyone is like me. And I'm going to be really honest, although I've quested, searched, I have not found many who are a reflection of what my heart space and soul is like. And although I have found many as well, I'm not going to sit here and name them, because if I do, then I'm going to forget, right? But if you gnosis who you are, then you know that's how I see you. Does that make sense? Right? So to try to remember or mention everyone who is a reflection of me, if I've told you, you know, and you believe that part, and we've always had a certain rapport. It's just that simple. Souls recognize souls. So people who are still within a program paradigm can't recognize us yet. They can't see the soul, right? Can't see the higher self of someone else. They only see what they're judging, what the package is like, what they would want, right? Blah, 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 blah. But when souls recognize souls, we don't have to explain stuff for days, weeks, months on end for somebody to, right, be able to see us. You just see. Hey, Jelly Jungle. My favorite DJ dude. How's it going, eh? Thanks for your streams. I've been silent for 9 days, but very present in many of your streams. Thanks for having a safe place, Jelly Jungle. You need to stop. You're not going out there. Michelle, oh my God, the fun we'd have if we lived together. I have a great imagination, lots of ideas to make for most of our time before we shuffle off this mortal coil. Ooh, Amber, maybe a fancy tea party instead. Makes sense, Meeps? Yeah. Michelle, oh my God, just have a package. Any package is perfect to house a beautiful soul. I don't know, Mark. Good question, sweetie. Oh my God, Mark Basket. Why is it mostly only one in a family has the eyes to see? I don't know. I question all the time. How did we plan this? Why did we plan this way, Mark? Why didn't we plan to be two? There's strength in numbers, right? Why didn't we plan that the people that we would have the eyes to see, why are we so fucking far apart? Yeah, good question. It's hard not to see. It's like I was thinking the other day, sometimes I'll say inside of me, or I'll say it out loud, I wish I could have just been born not knowing. I wish I could have just been, that kind of person who just was happy with the programs. And it's like I say that out loud, or I'll think it, and it's like my higher self is like, really? Really? You would really? No, not really. I couldn't have, even if I tried. Right? And that's the difference between born knowing and living a lifetime a certain way, and those that actually got to live embedded in the programs. There's a beauty to that for them. They didn't know, right? They didn't have to. And then again, maybe they do know, and it's just they're so fucking busy holding on to the programs, and I don't know. I never got the chance, right? I was born knowing, and then I had to camouflage, survive, and even when I lived timelines where there was matrix based, I was still not a part of everyone. You know what I mean? I was always different, or always, no matter what, always. I just grab that song you shared, Meeps? I'll listen to it later. Sorry guys, I don't mean to be so coffee and like, I don't know why all of a sudden I feel like phlegmy energy. Okay, just gotta set up my screen again. Once I go press a link, then I lose where I was. Mark, yeah, why most the only one in a family has eyes to see? I believe we as souls all chose. No matter how hard, how shitty, how traumatic my life, whatever parts, I know I chose it. I can see certain soul contracts. You know what I mean? Just like I can see certain future soul contracts. But it's hard to conceive. Personally, I know I've heard other people say it. I believe that we're in a collective overtime, that we've had the timelines prepared to bring in like true harmony for years now. And that within, for me, where I felt the ultimate shift was the week that Milky passed, right? So 2020, excuse me. 2020, June of 2020 is when I felt that, holy fuck, the spiritual hijack is way more embedded than I ever imagined. People are, you know, it's like if we go back in time to the first 3 weeks where we were told we had to wear masks, and I thought it was like, this is it. This is it. No grown ass fucking man in fucking like Quebec or Canada is going to fucking like, no mechanic that I know, no truck driver that I know, no fucking man is going to do this shit. This is it. This is the change. And now here we are 3 years later where, most of the grown ass fucking men that I know did everything. They're vaccinated. The men that I knew that didn't even take aspirin if they were fucking sick, or flu shots even if they had to, they found their way around it, are now on their whatever 4th, 5th vaccine, right? I never expected the collective to allow for any of this, any of it. You know what I mean? Like, if you have the choice to bring in harmony and peace, would you choose to stay? Like, and that's what people, right? It's hard to understand sometimes, eh? It is all by design that we're far apart, because we're all keeping certain grids and ley lines. Hi, Eileen. Lini Perez, comment ça va? Greetings back to you, sweetie. Thanks for coming in. Your brother is Mark, and he can't see? Mark Basquet. It's crazy. You can't show many. They can't see it. And they'll see it when they're ready. So just continue to plant the seeds. Yep. And with detachment, right? Not thinking that it's going, just allow for whatever needs to flow out of us with detachment. I think that we're going to be, well, I'm already radically shocked. I've been shocked in just kind of a dazed, what the fuck? Why would anybody choose this, right? My own children, right, have chosen certain timelines, and it's like that's their choice. It's their free will. They chose it. I can't, I can't change it. I can't make it better. Nothing. I can't go back and, my son allowed for 1 contact in the last year, and he was adamant, if just come back. Go back to the house to see your mom and dad and your sister, and we're just all gonna like fucking gonna be the same as it was. And it was like, I can't go back, right? And what does my relationship with you as my son have anything to do with my family. And it's like he made his choice, and it's like people would rather have it, people sit in a room, be decorative, than to have any truth, any, right? I don't know. That way, very few find the narrow way. Oh my gosh, that way. You remind me of a dream. Oh my God. We're April 17th, 2023. In April of 2019, I had a dream. I was on docks, like a pier, like with water. It was like a big docks, pier. I don't know the other words. And it was wooden. There was no steel. It was all wooden docks. There was a tiny little hole in the wood. And a blue jay came and whoosh, right in the hole that was this big. Whoosh, went in. And I remember waking up from that dream and just being shocked. How did the blue jay get through that little tiny hole? Yeah. Very few find the narrow path. True that, baby. Michelle, it's a beautifully intricate design, like a web. It doesn't always feel so beautiful, sweetie. It feels very played out. It feels like this is all already done. It's already all been said and done. It's already been chosen. We have already written in the sands of time what's coming, but why aren't we there? Jeanette, we are the lighthouses planted throughout the world. Yeah. Many of us to be very relocated as well within the very near future. Huge relocations. Huge. Many people who live in ignorance are so dull in their senses that they actually preserve their sanity. The David Niven film, A Matter of Life and Death, is a great example of that. Jeanette, my boys see. So very grateful they have the knowing. Yeah. I'm going to be really honest and say this exactly how it comes out, but I'm a seer, and therefore I see potential timelines all the time. I have since a child. I might not have had the same words, and the words that I use are my own. I don't go off teachings of how other people talk and imitate. I talk the way that I talk. So I've seen certain potential futures for my children, and at this point, I'm going to be really honest and say it exactly how it comes out. They're alive, and they've chosen that they're still here right now, and that's huge. That's huge. So whatever choices that they make, and that they are here now, that's enough. Our children come through us. They're not of us. Right? I was born with soul contracts to bring children through. It doesn't mean we're going to be like in a movie or in books and everything's going to be like the way that people think it should be or whatever, right? When you love people, you set them free. That includes everyone. Everyone. Jeanette, my husband was the only one that never wore a mask in my reality. Awesome. That way, don't worry about it. Everything's gonna be alright. Eileen, ça va bien? Wee, good. Yeah. Jeanette. Yeah, sweetie. Yeah, Mitch, it was dry docks. You just saw Blue Jay? Jeanette, wow, Jen, we aren't that divided. I have parents and grandparents that didn't take the medicine, but all the siblings did. Yeah, me still sometimes in utter shock of my parents choosing that timeline. And it really goes to show to what point that, like, I knew, especially my mother had a fear of death, but I didn't realize how embedded it was until, right, these choices came up type of thing. I knew that both my parents had been bypassing and not done a lot of inner work in their lifetime, but I never realized how deep, right, it went. Especially my daddy. Even now, it's shocking to me because if anybody should have been, it would have been me and him left standing, and everybody else just take their own route. It would have been me and him. Meaning my dad raised me to stand the fuck up for myself, to not be a fucking doormat, to crumble things down, to stand up for what's fucking right, to say fucking no and mean it, to take a stand if something was happening and not let it happen. So yeah, sometimes it's just like that, like whoa. But then again, when my grandfather was transitioning, it was very long and arduous and gory and graphic cancer, and my dad choosing to take him into his house, like into the family house, and take care of him for over a year and a half, and then never doing the inner work with his dad of like settling the childhood stuff, of saying the stuff that needed to be said. My dad never was the same after. You know what I mean? There's a part of, like, I remember after my grandfather transitioned first, then my grandma not super long after, and then for the first time in a long time, because my parents were separated, me, my mother, my dad, my sister were all together. And everyone was quite tipsy. And I looked at my parents and I was like, so when did you guys have the talk? When did you guys have the talks? And everybody was like, what are you talking? The Quetzal. The Quetzal. What are you talking about? And I was like, well, I mean, Dad, you were with Grandpa for like months at a time, sustained while he was sick. And Mom, that's when you guys kind of made peace and she came to help. And then after, like, right, Grandpa died, you guys still kept your friendship. And then Grandma transitioned. And it's like, when did you guys talk to Grandma and Grandpa, like my paternal grandparents, about the shit, the childhood shit, your fucking wounds? I was a love child, right? My mom was 17, my dad was 19. So there was a lot of fucking bullshit around a 1971, right? Young woman getting pregnant, and then there was a lot of fucking bullshit. But it never got spoken about openly. So everything, you know what I mean, got bypassed intergenerationally for so fucking long. So that by the time COVID came in, it was just like the perfect timeline to grab, right? For everyone. Anyways. Jeanette, hugs to you, Jen. I nearly lost my oldest, and I believe that changed him and all of us for the better. Yep. Yep. Oh, Michelle, I never thought my relationship with Nick would change. It has to, sweetie. It has to. Right? Love you. Jeanette. Oh my gosh, yes. My mother was a nurse, so that was huge for her. Yeah, Meeps says, quotes Jen. I talk the way I talk, end quote. For real. I was listening to a female voice coach last night, and she said to her audience, stop imitating other people and be yourself. Boom, exactly. If I can't listen to the cookie cutter versions, or I can sometimes, right? It's like, okay, that's so cute. Everybody fucking like read Dolores. So you read Dolores Cannon. So you read this. So you read that. And so you can quote back all this fucking stuff to me. But what's your innate knowing? What is your words for what you feel, what you emanate, whatever the fuck? What's your fucking words? And this is where the advantage of, I can't retain information. I can read a million fucking books tomorrow and I'll still describe them to you the way I talk. Right? The way I talk. And often the way I talk, or when I write, right? When I write down stuff, I get told, you sent me a poem. Well, no, I sent you written down exactly how I would have said it out loud. So if that sounds like a poem to you, kudos, great. But it's not. It's just exactly the way I would explain it if I was talking, but written out. And it's so important. And I can see within the last years how this is why I call it like a spiritual hijack. It's like the cookie cutter version of like spiritual people, right? It's like this cookie cutter fucking like saying the same stuff just with different decor and different fucking accents. And that's why I gravitate to smaller channels, people who just allow for flow, because the stuff in the books doesn't mean shit if you're not embodying it, but you can talk a crowd into having thousands, millions of viewers because you're saying things certain ways all the fucking time on repeat with a different background, right? And much of the stuff that I have from inner knowing, I didn't read or I didn't have Google to tell me about certain things about my third eye, right? I've lived my third eye being open my whole fucking life. And then all of a sudden, years ago, it's like, oh, the violet flame. That's what people call that. Or, right? Oh, other people know this too. Right? Finally, somebody's, that's not how it works for me. Like, I was all on board until you started talking about, like, this, that, and whatever. Because this, that, and whatever comes from the book. It doesn't come from, somebody's actual, what they're living, or the imitation. Right? It's like even how for some people to try to follow a guided meditation is exactly the thing that they're doing wrong, so that they can't be in a meditative state because they're trying to follow somebody else's voice and blah, 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 blah. And it's like if you eliminated all that stuff and just, boom, allowed yourself to do it, you would realize you just do it naturally, right? For me to listen to guided meditations where, and I gotta breathe the way somebody's telling me to breathe, and it's like, damn, I'm not even finished intaking a breath yet, and you're telling me I gotta breathe out, and I'm not even finished breathing in, and then all of a sudden I gotta drop something from my chakra into the ground and find a crystal palace. Yeah, that shit don't work for me. You know what I mean? It doesn't work for me. I know, Michelle, I was naive. I don't see it as naive, but I'm going to ask you straight up, right? From the perspective of somebody who's with a man, how often does Josh talk to his mother? Right? So when Josh said to you like a couple weeks ago or last week, I forget what stream, where you said, Josh said it's completely normal that you guys don't have long conversations or a lot of attention right now. But if you think of how much time right now Josh invests in his mom and how much time you would actually want him to invest in her, and be like, holy fuck, it's like I'm your fucking wife now, right? Could you pay some attention to the house is the same thing that Nick and his lady are going through, right? Of what she needs, what they need to build what they got. And if they're sustaining a relationship that's safe and that feels good for both of them right now, Michelle, that is the biggest tribute to you as a mom. Because if he's able to sustain and be vulnerable and want to build a life with his partner, that means you did everything fucking right. Right? You gave him the tools that he needed to be a man for another woman. And that's why so much I can step aside from my son in his life, because the yuck that his partner and I don't have a relationship, and there's nothing to solidify that coming in because of all the outside, like, I am this and I am that, then it's either going to flip into something someday or not. Like, I can't make it happen, right? Jeanette says, no, Michelle, you weren't naive. We love them when we think they're ours until we realize they're on their own journey. Exactly. And in this Matrix world, and one of the biggest jokes of society is the mother-in-law. And I don't want to be that joke. Right? So the whole mother-in-law, oh, I have to invite my mother-in-law for Christmas. I have to invite my mother-in-law for this. You don't want to invite me? Don't. Right? Good. Instead of us all playing a game where, the daughter-in-law doesn't fucking want me in the same fucking room, or we're not even comfortable together to have a fucking conversation. Why would we play that Matrix game on some level, right? We're all staying true to whatever our timelines are. And Lily listens to a song, I think it's Billie Eilish, where it's like, every time you didn't give me attention, you were teaching me how to be alone. So for me, it's been since my son was 15 that we didn't have a certain connection, and now he's 26, right? So I was thinking the other day, like, I love him maternally and unconditionally, and if he called me tomorrow in a heartbeat and asked me for something and I could do it, I would be there. I would do it. That's it. Like, he wouldn't have to fucking beg or say anything. If he wanted to say, Mom, I need you now, and it's like, well, I don't have a car. Come pick me up. I'm on right? Like, fuck. Come pick me up if you need me. I don't have a car. I can't just be there. But when you realize that, you don't even know your child's actual favorite color, you can remember what it was from childhood, but you don't know what it is now. When you know everything of their favorite food from when they were like babies, toddlers, and young, kids, but you have no clue what it actually is now, right? When you haven't been a part of somebody's life sustained for years already, right? Like it's not there. Jeanette, same Jen. I found my own way in my backyard when I was having a meltdown. Michelle, exactly. Yep, exactly, because I used to be the same way. Michelle says, I actually tell Josh to contact his mom more, and he doesn't listen. Yep. Same with certain people I've been with and stuff. Meeps, I gotta run, folks. It's almost 3 a.m. in the UK. I've been awake so long. Coma time. Stay strong, Michelle. John, keep shining. Love you, Meeps. Thanks for participating. Appreciate you. 21:31 Eastern Time. I'm going to be done in a few minutes, too. I won't be long. I'm going to maybe pull a card or two to full circle what I've been saying, and just to be done. Amber, that's a beautiful thought. I love that. Ha! See? That's the thingy. Mitch, that's beautiful. I'm blessed. Alyssa and I keep connected, and we've told each other we love one another. I have a daughter now. Thanks, guys. Exactly. So what? I got shivers everywhere. You're so blessed to have that contact, because I've never had that with my son's partner. And dude, I met her and looked straight at her and Sam, and it came out of me, oh my God, I see your baby. Like, I didn't even have time to hold it in, right? So I already knew the day I met her that she was long term, that it wasn't a fucking, she was not a flash in the fucking pan girlfriend in passing. I saw their child, right? So, but that's the thing, because I see the child and I see the soul contract. I also know, right? Like I said the other stream, I already know who the person of the past is entering my second grandchild's body if that child comes to term. I already know. That's the depth of, like, when we have certain sight and can see soul contracts and can see certain things. Okay. Ha! Do you want to guess what card it is, Mitch? This will be the last card, unless I really get guided to, like, just pull another one so I don't end on this note. This card's been coming up every stream, and if it ain't this card and I'm choosing another deck, the same message is coming up every stream, no matter what, even if I just took 9 days of a fucking break, right? Yes, Michelle, the Billy line, you taught me how to be alone. Exactly. Jeanette, that's completely possible. Exactly. My boys live 4 hours away, and we have more honest conversations now than we did when they actually lived in the same home. And they're single. $31. Why? Motives driving your attention. The power of knowing why. There's a great power in understanding your motives right now. The Oracle asks you to be very clear about why you're asking certain questions, looking for certain answers, behaving this way, and most importantly, making certain choices. Knowing your why is the key to fulfillment. When you are clear about it, your intention will then be a magnet for miracles. Motive defines the nature of your experience. When you think about something, feel it, and then when you act on it, this invisible why is the life force energy within the seed, which brings to life and holds the potential for growth. Relationship message. We don't always know why we engage in our relationships in the way we do, mostly because our feelings are not always logical. Now is the time to recognize whether you are being triggered by someone else or if your behavior is motivated by unresolved issues of the past. When you ask yourself, why am I feeling like this? Why did I say that? And you actually spend time in introspections, the answers might be surprising. Listen to the messages from your intuition, from the deep knowing within you. What does it tell you about yourself and others? In the end, life is about being loved. Miracles and deep understanding of your needs and how to get them met are the buried treasures of the why. Uncover them by posing the most powerful question you can ask yourself and your partner or relationships today. Why? And last but not least, sometimes subconsciously denying the truth may drive you towards a specific outcome that actually aligns with an intention that's hidden from your awareness. For example, you might want to be prominent in your profession, but your desire is not really about sharing your talents. It's about making you feel better, because fame will make other people admire and approve of you. Or you want to reunite with a partner who rejected you because you believe your love continues to be strong, but deep down, you just desire to have the last word with that person. Now's the time for deep soul searching of the why that drives your choices. What you uncover will set you free and bring you ever closer to the happiness you seek. I said why earlier, and I saw the card in my mind's eye, and I was like, don't you come up today. Don't you come up. But you know it will. If it's meant to, it will. And I say that just because the pet puis répète, puis pet puis répète, puis pete and repeat, pet puis répète, when it's the same cards. But again, for me that's here pulling cards for whatever energy people are passing through, the messages can't change until, we, I, us, whoever needs the messages have flipped into another embodiment and paradigm, right? Timeline, whatever you want to call it. Many people speak or do things, especially right now, and if you are questioning why, a lot of people, they don't want to see that they're still just hanging on to stuff out of routine or habit or pity or fear, right? Don't want to leave a certain relationship because you're scared, blah, 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 blah. Don't want to leave a certain job because of this and that, right? But the why are you still showing up somewhere where you're not happy? Why are you still going to work if it's making your tummy hurt and giving you the shits because you hate it so much? And this has been happening for days, weeks, months, or years. And right, why? Annie Lennox, why has been following me hard? I'm not quite sure I remember that. I see the word Annie Lennox written out, and I think of the song Thorn in My Side, which I haven't listened to in years, and it hasn't come up randomly, but that's the song that... Higher Power. This card as well has been coming up consistently. Maybe not as every stream, but consistently. For Higher Power, conscious contact with the higher power, the presence of the divine, seeing source energy in all things, committing to partnerships with spirit. This card reminds you that you are more than just a person trying to get ahead and make things happen. You have an immortal soul, and you are gifted with a human life in which a higher power can express itself. At this time, you need to be conscious of your connection to spirit, and you foster it. Through prayer and meditation, ask, what is the highest good for all? How can I serve? Then get out of your own way and trust there's a plan for your life, more wondrous than you might ever imagine. You are protected and divinely directed. Relationship message. It's time to address how much effort you give to your relationship with your higher power. Whether you call it God, Goddess, Spirit, Creator, or any other name that is sacred or holy to you. Recognize your partnership with Spirit is your number one priority. The appearance of this card also indicates there's a deep spiritual bond between you and another person. It's essential to your growth and evolution. Tend to your spiritual connections and remain aware of your true nature. Yeah. And I'm going to pull one last, my French Doreen Virtue Angel cards, and that's going to be it. And I'm not one to wrap up for a long time, because I've been wrapping up for the last hour, saying I'm almost done. So, short, sweet goodbye. I will see you later, my alligators. Thank you so much for everyone who chose to participate, who just chose to be in the background, anchoring the energy. jumped, made the box open. It's on the couch. I actually threw the, well, I didn't throw it, but I put the music box right where his happy place is. Être à l'écoute. Cessez de vous torturer, cher bien-aimé. I don't feel like reading and being French right now. Être à l'écoute. Shh. Listen. 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 You can say that we can all say that we think that we're not being guided, but we are. And many people just don't want to listen to that inner guidance, right? You wishing and hoping and praying for another answer or another. It's not going to come. Yeah, he's a cutie. Okay, thank you all. Like, seriously. I got to stop because when I talk too much at the end, then I can start or see a comment and then roll off it for another half an hour, 2 hours, and that's enough out of me. Yes, listen to the whispers in the wind. Love you guys. Thank you so much, eh?